Mission First Tactical is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
That is a badass new intro. If you're not watching the video, you need to tune in and watch the video because we are now recording everything to video. And I'm using this new fancy system here thanks to this guy at my top left, ladies and gentlemen, joining us all the way from North Dakota, not South Dakota. It's Nick Dooley, AR-15 podcast. Nick, welcome in.
How are we doing? Glad to be here again.
Yeah, glad to have you. Glad you could make it. It's been tough getting you nailed down for this. Of course, it's been tough getting this guy nailed down too.
Yeah, such is the nature of the beast. Like, it's every now and then a guy just gets a little bit busy.
Just a little bit. And then also join us. I think this is like your third time on, isn't it?
I think it might be my fourth.
Or fourth? Look at there.
Might be my fourth time.
Yeah, I mean, with 12, 13 years of doing this, it just all runs together. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Leadhead Austin Waylan, all the way from Texas.
How y'all doing?
Howdy. Austin. And that new intro is thanks to Austin, because apparently he's got some technological ingenuity going on.
Just a little bit of almost 15 years in the digital media and animation.
That boy got some skills. He got skills.
That's way better than me. Like, I'm barely above the hunt and peck type phase.
Hunt and peck.
I just roll around in the mud until I figure it out. Or I find somebody like Austin that can help me figure it out.
Well, that's the best way to learn. Is just dig into it. Just
grab a root and growl.
Yeah.
That's what I was always told. Just grab a root and growl.
It makes sense.
Leadheads, welcome in to the podcast. You may have noticed I haven't been putting up episodes as frequently as I have, but I've been learning stuff. So I've had a big learning curve on our video equipment and software that I've gotten. So I just had to take some time off and learn that, and I think I've got a good start on it. And if you'll go back to our previous episode, the AK Corners, our third episode of the AK Corner, we did an on-location podcast at Pioneer Arms in Florida. Pioneer Arms USA hosted us, and we talked about the PPS 43, which I got one around here somewhere. The iconic World War II submachine gun, probably one of the most underrated submachine guns, especially of the World War II era. But we had our good buddy Marco Vorbiv on talking about it. He actually drove to Florida with me. He drove down from Michigan, picked me up in Tennessee, and we went on down to Florida. So I had 18 hours plus in the car with a former Russian Spetsnaz soldier, which he's an interesting cat, that Marco. Do you think he's interesting on the show? Spend 18 hours in a car with him, and he'll learn you some things.
I can imagine.
He is a smart dude. So very fortunate to have him on, joining us again. And CJ Johnson, who is running everything down there, Pioneer Arms, down in Florida. And then we also had Michael. We call him Mikey Mike because we can't ever pronounce his last name. He is the actual founder of Pioneer Arms in Rodham, Poland. And, of course, we talk about the PPS 43. And we gave away, Austin, what did we give away that episode? We gave away a Underfolder 556 Pioneer Arms.
Special edition.
Is a special edition, and I don't have it. It's even more special than the one I've got right here. It's a one of one, and we announced the winner on that. So I don't think the winner has claimed it yet either. I can't remember. No, they have. They did. It was like within 10 hours of me making the post, I got an email. He was like, I'm a winner. I was like, okay. So we did that. We actually gave away a PPS 43 in the second episode. So that one was shipped out, claimed. I want to see you guys when you're winning this stuff, post it up. And then on our next AK Corner, so next month, what's next month? April's AK Corner, we're going to make the announcement of what you've got to do to win April, January, February, May. What's that? June's. So it's every third episode we're giving one away, unless CJ decides he wants to give another one away. So you just never know. And we're going to give away a Grom 7.62, one of their AK Groms with an RPK stock. I don't know if you can see that one.
Oh yeah.
That's not a Grom. That's a 20-inch. I got a 20-inch with an RPK stock on it. But it'll be one of the Groms, which that's a Grom right there. So basically what they did is they took their Hell Pups, they put underfolder on them, and then they pin and welded a faux suppressor to make it 16 inches, so it's legal. That one's got a collapsible stock, and then they make the underfolders too. And I think this one's going to be an underfolder. No, it's going to have that stock on it. Yeah, that's right. It's going to have the RPK stock. What am I talking about? But we put something special on them too. So there's a special something that's engraved on them when you get them. No, I'm not going to say what it is. Only the winners will be able to know what that is. And I believe Austin, like our first season of the AK Corner, didn't you win one of the Hell Pups or something?
I think it was episode 8, season 1. I won one of the Hell Pups. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you done anything with your Hell Pup?
I painted it, added a folding brace on it. I made it black and like zombie green with the talking lead green colors.
Oh, nice.
Actually, yeah.
Did you send me a picture of that?
Maybe. It's on my Instagram somewhere.
Post it again. Repost that shit.
Post it again.
Yeah. Post it. Go to Austin's Instagrams. What's your Instagrams, Austin?
It's just Austin Waylan.
Just the whole Austin Waylan.
Yeah. I'm the only one out there. It's pretty easy to find.
Even I have a Pioneer Arms Hell Pup, and I am the AR guy.
That's right. Did you win one?
I did. And
you were a winner too. Okay.
Yep. And I affectionately dubbed mine the Ghetto Blaster.
I love that.
Because Polish. And it has it's got a Swamp Fox Liberator 1 red dot with I removed the rear sight and put the rear sight rail on it. A side folding brace, Magpul Zukov front end with a Olight Odin flashlight.
Of course you did.
Oh yeah, all the things, and then I actually bought an Occam Defense Chemo 3-time brake.
Oh, very nice.
And have one of those on there as well. So it is affectionately dubbed the Ghetto Blaster.
I love it. So this is I don't know if we made the announcement or not, or if I'm supposed to say anything about it, but they are coming out with a Hell Puppy.
Hell Puppy.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah, that sounds intriguing.
So it's shorter. Like
shorter than
size.
Oh no,
shorter than a crink.
Oh,
like it.
Okay. Shorter than a crink. Yeah,
nice.
So that is on the way. I don't know exactly when the release date is on that, or if I was supposed to say anything about it or not, but I just did. So there you go, Leadheads.
Well,
exclusives.
I remember when this is the show for exclusives.
That's right. This is the show for exclusives, the Talking Lead podcast. And speaking of exclusives, you guys know that Mission First Tactical has been a long time supporter of the show, sponsor of the show, and we have just made them officially the tactical accessory supplier of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. So welcome Mission First Tactical as the tactical accessory supplier. I think that's the provider, tactical accessories provider. There we go. And then Dooley's got the G.I. Joe mag. Austin, do you have these?
I don't have any of those mags. I don't got one. You ought to send me one.
I'm going to send you the set because they come as a set.
Okay.
Can't have G.I. Joe without Cobra.
Yeah.
So we've got Mission First Tactical done in the G.I. Joe 30-round mag, and then we've got
because America,
and then we've got U.S. Palm mags done up with the Cobra Python Patrol
because
for
communism.
G.I. Joes know what I'm talking about. And you can get these as a set, and if you want them, you PM me, and I'll tell you what you got to do. It's just a small donation to the show, and we'll send these to you. But Austin, I'll send you some. So just shoot me a message, and I'll send you some. So yeah, Mission First Tactical, the official tactical accessories provider of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. So more to come from Mission First Tactical. I actually made a post. They've got some new iron sights out. Really nice, just basic, but freaking like solid as a tank. Flip up
Pretty good.
sights. I don't know if I can get them up here or not. There's the rear sight, and then there's the front sight. So they're very low profile. They're not the like flip ups, where you push a button. Because they had a specific military request that they make some that didn't do that, at least less failure points and whatnot. So these are just the basic. You pull them up, they lock in place, and they're metal, solid metal.
I was about to say they sounded like metal.
Yeah. And then I threw them on this 22. I've got a Nordic Components 22. I got a can that I'm going to be trying out. So I broke out my 22 AK and my AR. I got a 22 AK back here. Again, Pioneer Arms makes 22 AKs. If you didn't know, and it's exact. It's an AK. It's an AK 47 done in 22. It's the same weight, feel, action, everything. Of course, the bolt's different, and all that. But and that's the can. You're not supposed to see the can. It's not been released yet. So
yeah. Is that from another company that I know?
It's from a company that you know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off air.
Yep. Sounds good.
Who it is. But they haven't officially released anything yet. So, but check out Pioneer Arms. Go to their website, and you can go to like Classic Firearms and all these other places and get their rifles. But they run like special blim deals on their website where you can get even better deals. And there's nothing wrong with the rifles. CJ's talked about it in previous episodes. They check everything. It's usually just something cosmetic, and they typically will fix it anyway. And you're basically getting a brand new rifle for, a couple $100 cheaper.
I guarantee I will cause more blims than that rifle comes with.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're worried about a blim, then you probably shouldn't have the rifle to begin with. But I told you guys they had these 20 inches a couple episodes back, and they were smoking deal. I think they were like $500. You could have got these 20-inch. They're gone now. I mean, you missed out. They go quick. So, for instance, on their website right now, I'm just looking at it right now, and they've got a Grom 5.56 wood blim. They've got a Grom 7.62 with it's the metal one like I've got back here behind me, with the telescoping and everything. $725. That's got the full metal rail and everything on it. There's a Grom wood straight stock 7.62, $695. Then they got a couple other. There's a 5.56. Ooh, those are going to be like impossible to get coming up soon. So the 5.56 are catching on. People are hearing about them. $580 right now. They've got a 5.56 Sporter rifle underfolding with the underfolding stock, just like the one I held up, like this one right here. $580. That's unheard of. Unheard of, guys. So go check them out. PioneerArmsUSA.com. Hey, lead heads, Lefty here. Just want to talk to you a little bit about our good friends over at Leo Takedown. Leo Takedown is an advanced takedown platform designed to fit any mil-spec AR-15 or M4 rifle. Discreet carry shouldn't compromise tactical advantage. The Leo Takedown allows the operator to move from discreet carry to ready in seconds. The Leo Takedown allows users to quickly change barrel lengths or calibers in order to adapt to evolving mission demands. It's your rifle. You shouldn't be backed into a corner with proprietary parts in order to have takedown capability. The Leo Takedown requires no proprietary parts and allows the operator to build their own rifle how they want it. The Leo Takedown provides a solid, straight in, straight out, positive lock every time. No hinges, twisting, or handles required. Check out Leo's brand new integrated takedown upper receiver. With our tested and proven takedown coupling now machined into the upper receiver, installation is a breeze. Made in the USA, there is nothing else on the market that compares to this patented technology. See the difference for yourself at leotakedown.com. That's leotakedown.com. Leadheads, use the code TL10 for 10% off your next order. Leo Takedown is a proud supporter of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. So the reason I've got Nick and Austin on is I wanted to talk a little bit about the border, the United States border, and the issues, the crisis, the problems, whatever you want to call it. You know, I don't know that I really call it a crisis because I think that's just a political term that they're using to, you know, to get their votes and get their elections and all that one. Whatever side's using it, you know, it doesn't matter. They're both the same in my opinion, the left and the right.
Two sides of the same coin.
Right. They're all in it together to win it. They're all against us. If you don't believe that, then you've been indoctrinated from a way young age, I guess younger than what we are. If you're old folks like us, then you know better. Some people don't. But
the youngest one here.
want to talk to them because they are both in the National Guard, Army National Guards. Nick is a staff sergeant there in North Dakota, and Austin is a new sergeant down there in Texas. So they have both been to the border several times, long deployments, and I just kind of wanted to get their take on what they saw and, you know, what's actually happening down, what's been going on down there. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, there's this little thing we do before all that, and it's just kind of our way to vent. You know, we don't really talk shit about people on this show, but there's times where we just need to vent and get things out that's maybe bothering us, or call somebody out that's done something stupid. And you know, it's the jackwagon train. So Gunny's bringing that train in. He's a little slower on that train than usual, but he's got it. It's coming in. You hear it here.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
Coming in hot. The jackwagon train, ladies and gentlemen. Way overdue. Like I said, it's been a while since our last regular episode. But I've got a couple of jackwagons. I think I'm going to start us off. And this is from the UFC. You guys know Sean Strickland? You ever heard of him? You guys into the UFC, MMA fight, anything like that?
I don't usually watch it.
Yeah, he's one of the top dogs nowadays. So he got on his social media or something, I guess, and he basically was calling out Navy SEALs, saying that their training sucks. They couldn't make it through, one of his training camps. Blah blah blah. I don't think he actually like invited them to fight him or anything. He was just invited them to come to his training camp, and he was like, "Hey, go through my training camp if you think what you do stuff."
Yeah.
So obviously, there's, I guess they say they're Navy SEALs, responded to him. And one of them basically was like, dude, two different worlds here. You got bananas and oranges over here. You're trained for entertainment. We train to kill. Kind
It's a difference.
of deal. And then there was this other guy, and he was an older guy. He says he was a Navy SEAL. I don't know who he was, but he put out a video response to it. I had it, but I'm not going to play it. But basically, he was like, "Hey, I'll meet you out in the street any day, anytime, and we'll get it on." Basically, I think Sean would probably still wipe the street with him, even though you're a Navy SEAL, and I'm sure he was trained pretty good. But you also got to look at Sean Strickland's in his prime, fighting somebody who may be my age or something. I definitely wouldn't take on.
Well, that and
anybody.
remember, there are rules in an octagon. There's no.
That's true.
I prefer to go by the rules of the bar fight, which is go dirty early.
Yeah, and that's basically what these SEALs were pointing out to him. It was like, look, you train, for tapping out, and that we train to the death. So
it's like, oh no, like lay on your back and come at me. Get in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing.
Start kicking the air.
No, what are you really going to do? You're going to kick him in the balls and move on.
Yeah. So I kind of thought that was on both parts, on both sides. The people that responded to him, of course, the people who don't, the Navy SEALs that didn't, are probably the true. They're like, they just know he's just full of hot air. So,
well, they're too busy writing their next book.
But I would like for one of them to actually go to his training camp and smoke him.
Yep.
I think that would be cool to see that. But yeah, so there's my jack wagon. What about you guys? You got a jack wagon? Start with Austin.
All right. It's my neighbor behind my house. We go. I don't know why, but every time we walk around the block, there is 20 cats. I've counted. It's exactly 20 cats being fed on the driveway.
20 cat. Are they his or are they just neighborhood strays?
I assume it's theirs. It's
okay.
Cat
lady. It hasn't been a problem yet, but I just think it's so crazy to see 20 cats in a driveway eating food.
So I take it you're not a cat guy.
I mean, I'm okay with cats. I mean, one cat is just fine, but 20.
20? Did you count them?
I counted exactly 20.
And do you have a 22 with a silencer?
I do, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. They're not that big of a deal.
Thermal vision.
Get those little shorties.
The elusive ditch panther.
I would also like to throw out Dan Crenshaw. I don't know what he's doing about his birthday party. He had a birthday party, and he had he had Brad Paisley there. I don't know what he's doing with that. I don't think that's a politician anything to do.
I mean, that's where he gets his money. All these politicians gotta groom the musicians and the actors because that's where they get all their money.
Yeah,
I guess. Is that so? He had a birthday party, and was this Brad Paisley guy playing, or was he just there?
I don't know. It just seemed kind of like, hey, celebrate my birthday. I'm 40. Seemed a little extravagant for a conservative.
So I thought he was older than 40. So he just turned 40.
I guess he just turned 40.
I mean, hey, more power to him. If he got the money to afford somebody like that to play at his birthday party, have at it.
I guess so, yeah.
Is he in Texas?
He's a Texas congressman, yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the, I'm not I mean, I like him. I don't know what he's doing with the Brad Paisley party, but he
Dude,
was
what about that Brandon
Herrera.
Brandon
Herrera?
Herrera.
Didn't he run for something?
He actually is running for district, I think 23. That's like San Antonio to like El Paso.
Yeah. Did he win or is he winning?
It's a toss up, so they have to
do a runoff.
Yeah, runoff. That's what it's called.
They beat they're like, oh, he only got 44% of the vote, but the rest of the other parties and everything in Texas, the voting law, if one candidate doesn't get at least 50% of the vote, they have to do a runoff.
Yeah.
So he got Tony down to a 1v1.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you said you were going to do this, and you're not doing the things you said you would.
Yeah.
So now he has to go against just him.
I think you should challenge him to a boxing match.
Oh yeah.
Winner take all.
I like it.
That's a good idea.
I'm down with that. I dig that. So what about you, Dooley? Who's your jack?
Well, I have a jackwagon that I think most of America is going to find a jackwagon in the very near future if they don't already. And that is, we'll find out if it was actually a crew error or if it was really a cyber attack. But whoever was actually behind the bridge collision in Baltimore.
Yeah, and they're calling it a bridge collapse.
Yeah,
that's another thing. The media will not come out and call it. All the headlines are bridge collapse, Baltimore bridge collapse. It's not a big giant fucking barge rammed it and made it collapse.
Yeah, this container vessel that was bound for like, it was let's see. Yep.
It was a Saudi ship, I think.
No, it's registered to Singapore. And it was called the Dolly, but it was headed out, and they were fully loaded, and they were headed for a cross-Atlantic voyage when they, like, if you watch there's a video I saw of it that had it sped up 8 times.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It could not have been a more direct turn.
Well, they were coming at it, and then I guess they were missing it, so then they backed up, and then they tried it again. It looked like a slow-mo video.
They were coming, and then they lost all power, and they're like, the backup generator fired up, but then they got power back again, but it was just enough to like crank the rudders to make it turn, and then after it got lined up with the bridge, all of a sudden the power came back on.
And that video that they show, because they do speed it up, what was the actual time? Did anybody say?
That was 8 times the speed, so it'd be like, I'm sure it was like 20 minutes, of like the slowest. Oh no! Oh,
it's like the Zamboni coming at you.
Yeah,
and you're just sitting there like, oh no!
Yeah, like what was it in Austin Powers, the guy with the steamroller?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But whoever was actually behind that, because like the Port of Baltimore is one of America's busiest ports. Like there is a ton of trade that comes into that. And that is a huge, like there's a lot of infrastructure that is going to be hurt because of that nobody's even looking at yet.
Yeah, well, I think that was probably designed in whoever orchestrated.
If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah,
and
but they're going to cover it up somehow.
It doesn't smell like an accident to me.
Yeah. Probably the Ukrainians. That's it. Did we cut their money off or something?
Oh no, we just gave them a bunch more in the omnibus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then it might have been Russia then that did it. Because we attacked their stadium or whatever.
I don't think it was the Houthis.
So another thing that's happened and it relates to the border. You guys were telling me this, and it happened last week. Now here's a video. I'm going to add this to the stage. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess you've got the audio on it there, but there's probably not any audio. But basically, what happened? You guys want to, Austin? You want to narrate what's going on here?
So there's a concertina wire there, and then I guess they put up the fabric fence. Yeah, the fabric fence was there, and they put the concertina wire on that, and it looks like they just yanked it down, and they started piling up against the guardsmen.
And what we're saying is this down in Texas, right? El Paso
El Paso
at the border. There's a bunch of
it's
would be immigrants there. They want to come over. You're not an immigrant until you actually cross the line, right?
I mean, technically they are, because that wall is about, I don't know, 100 yards from the water.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part of that is the technical term for the wall, if you will, it's called the IBF, the International Boundary Fence. So the IBF is actually like
I got IBF.
It's technically like 10 feet on American soil.
Yeah.
Irritable bowel syndrome, right?
Something like that. It's all of the wall or fence is actually like 10 foot on the American side. Like, think about it like a right of way, like a highway.
Yeah.
And the actual border would be like, we build on the shoulder on our side, and the border's in the middle where the center line of the road would be.
So we go past the right of way, basically.
Yeah, it's we're like, hey, we're gonna come like 8 feet our way to be. We built this fence on our land, not yours, and we don't want any confusion about it.
Right. So there's no confusion. We are completely on our land there. So that happened last week, and basically they just stormed it, and it looks like of course it's zoomed in to make it look like there's probably fewer there than what it actually feels like. But did it say how many there were?
Doesn't really say. It looks like a good 50.
It looks like a good 100, maybe. Maybe
50 to 100. It's hard to say what's behind there.
But that's actually Gate 36. I was at Gate 36 in October in El Paso last year.
But they just basically stormed by the patrol there, knocked them out of the way. Patrol's, trying to stand their ground, and they're like, "Fuck it, come on through." And but then they're met by this giant asphalt that there's no way in hell they're gonna not. What was the hurry? I don't understand what the hurry. What was the hurry? Was somebody giving away free Nikes?
They actually leave their shoes there. Like, usually when they cross, they have a plastic trash bag when they cross the river, so just full of clothes, so that they can change into dry clothes. So there's literally just piles and piles of clothes once they cross on the U.S. side, and they just leave their shoes in rows. I don't know,
because they're all soaking wet, and they just peel out of them.
And the water's not that great of water.
In a month from now, they're gonna go back and pick them back up.
No,
on their next crossing.
No, that we actually have like some volunteers down along the border that just pick up the clothes, and it's pretty bad.
I hope they burn it. They don't put them in. They don't sell them to Goodwill, do they?
I mean, you make a killing if you open a store. I thought about it like, I could just sell.
I mean, that kind of gets into whether you're for it or against it or whatnot. But a lot of businesses down on the border, that's how they make their living, are from the illegal immigrants that come through. They thrive relying on that business.
Oh, I've got stories for days about some of that stuff from my time on the border that we saw.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that, definitely. So, any more jack wagons? Got any more jack wagons?
No, that was my main one.
I've got one more, and this is kind of a, I don't know, you decide kind of deal. So this was in, I think, North Carolina. Let me pull it up over here. At a Walmart. Man explains why he brought guns, ammo into Walmart. This is in Monroe, North Carolina. You guys heard about this?
No.
Okay. So where am I reading this from? WSOC TV. Make sure I give credit where credit's due here. A Union County man says he meant no harm when he brought multiple weapons into Walmart and wore a bulletproof vest. The Monroe Police Department arrested MOJA. How would you say that? Moha?
Well, that depends.
Okay.
Like,
let's table
what-
that. Moha, KEMET, Kemet, ESTEP. So there's our first clue right here. Moha Kemet Estep was
Well, that'd
arrested.
be Moja.
Moja.
Oh,
He faces one misdemeanor charge of going armed to the terror of people. Going armed to the terror of people.
I thought it might have been public menacing, but that works as well.
He says, I saw a gentleman with body armor and an AR-15, which I need to pull this up because this is part of the Jack Wagonery of everything. North Carolina. This is what I get for having multiple laptops here. I thought I pulled it up on this one, but I didn't.
Like, I feel like this is some wish.com body armor. Like, either that or it's, oh yes, he was wearing body armor, and it's just like a plate carrier with no plates.
Yeah.
It's a small, and I don't know if he even had plate. Yeah, I can't tell if he's got plates in it or not. So let me.
So is this guy like an extra medium kind of guy like myself?
Extra
No,
medium.
You'll see. You'll see.
Because like,
All right, so here's the dude.
oh yeah,
That's totally wish.com.
yeah.
This is the dude. And let's see if they've got that picture on here of his, because everybody's using the same pictures, but they don't say if these are the weapons that he actually had on him. There it is right there. You see that?
Oh, that's not an AR.
I know. so let me go through. All right.
But look at that Chiappa Rhino.
But I don't know that these are his because they don't say none of the things that I can say are these are the actual guns, but there is a picture of him and he does have an AK. He doesn't have an AR. So anyway, this is one of the people calling. And then it says people are walking in and out, nothing is going on, but I thought I would just let somebody know. In an interview with Channel 9 Tuesday, Estep says he had no ill intentions. He says he is an avid supporter of the Second Amendment, and he has been openly caring to protect himself and others in response to mass shootings across the country. Don't judge. Without the Second Amendment, we have no freedom, Estep said. Estep says all but one of his weapons was confiscated by Monroe police. Police called 911 Monday around 1 p.m. Blah, blah, blah. I'm an honest man. I have 3 kids. I've never had any violent charges. All the people who know and love me can speak for me. Estep says he went to Walmart to buy a new gun sling. Okay.
Well, yeah, you got to bring it to try on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to fit it. You got to fit it. The 32-year-olds, and you got to wear all your kit and gear to make sure that it's not going to interfere with, your typical carry. The 32-year-old says he's been carrying weapons since he was 21. So that would be 11 years. And he brought the arsenal to the store because he can. That's his quote. I brought it because I can. I'm not just some random guy with a gun. I know how to handle guns properly and safely. Walmart has no gun policy. Defense attorney Brent Ratchford says, like it or not, places such as Walmart have the right to do this. Oh, Walmart has a no gun policy, which we all know how those work. Stores are considered to be private property. They can restrict your gun rights. Estep says he's been in other stores with no problems. He plans to fight the charges, get his guns back, and change nothing. You shouldn't be afraid to stand up for yourself and what you believe, he said. I'm just trying to protect my Second Amendment, brother. I'm just trying to protect my Second Amendment, brother.
Brother.
Oh, the UNC School of Government says the charge of going armed to the terror of people is issued when someone is carrying weapons in a way that is frightening to others.
It's the play carrier. That's the scary part.
Estep says his demeanor wasn't frightening and that customers were smiling and waving at him. So I hope this goes to a higher court. But here's the thing about the no gun policy too is you still have, and I think North Carolina is an open carry state as well. So, I mean, I don't think he was breaking the law, but he was just breaking Walmart's policy, but he still can't be arrested for that unless they ask him to leave and he doesn't leave. Then he's trespassing.
Yep. There's a handful of things with that could go into, like, one of the great things about like my state, South Dakota, because we're the best Dakota, South Dakota. And
are you not North Dakota? Did I say you were North Dakota?
Yes, it's every time for whatever reason.
I don't know.
Like, at this point, I think it's a joke.
I think I want you to be in North Dakota.
Well, you're like, he's kind of from the north, but no, we're not nearly Yankee enough to be North Dakota. So, like, but no.
My bad. So South Dakota.
But we actually have a law that just because it boils down to, I forget the exact legalese of it, but it's just because it makes someone uneasy does not make it a crime. And
right.
it has to do with open carry. And it's one of those where in public places, every now and then you'll come across people who do a, quote, Second Amendment audit, end quote. And you can generally find these people on YouTube, like, open carrying, walking down a street, a busy city street, like, oh no, like, I'm just doing a Second Amendment audit to see how the police act about me having my kit and gear. And it's like, no, what you're doing is being a jackwagon. And what you should do is not be here. And
not dressed like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this comes back to the age-old that just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. Which is exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yeah. It's hey, I get it. You can. You're right. There's technically not a law against that.
Yeah. But here's the thing too. If this guy's been doing this since he was 21, he says, and this is the first incident that he's had, and apparently he's not been doing this. He did this for a reason. And that's I kind of want to see him as, okay, kind of get where you're coming from, but then at the same time, I think you were doing this for attention kind of deal.
Yeah, well, it's like I said when I refer it to people here, South Dakota's always been open carry. This is one of those things where actually here we are to the point of you are breaking no laws if you would strap an AR to your chest with a round in the chamber and a magazine in the mag well and walk into the bank to conduct your business with the teller. You are breaking zero laws. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand.
That's what I was like. I know that technically correct is the best kind of correct, but
there's like etiquette. There's like firearms carry etiquette. And common sense. And common sense tells me that, okay, mass shootings are a big thing in the news today.
I should probably not go to Walmart looking like I'm dressed to do one.
I should probably not do that. One, because as I'm kitted up and walking in, there could be somebody like me or you and is hyper aware of our surroundings and sees this and is going to confront this guy and say, "Hey, dude,
what's happening?"
Yeah, but I'm not going to be doing it with empty hands, kind of deal. So one, he's lucky he didn't get shot before he even made it into Walmart. Two, he's lucky he didn't get shot when he got in Walmart, because I guarantee you there was people carrying all over that place. That there were probably guns all over that Walmart. It's North Carolina. Come on.
North Kakalaki. I know how you are.
And then three, he's lucky the cops didn't shoot him. I think those cops probably showed great restraint from not capping this guy. So they're my heroes at this point. Yeah, he definitely needed to be called on this and say, "Look, dude, you need to answer." They need to check his mental stability also. I think this guy probably mentally needs to be checked out too, because this is going to be our next mass shooter right here. Here's the warning signs.
What's the line? What's the line? He was on our radar.
He was on our radar. A sane person doesn't do this. Same person doesn't do this. And I mean, just look at the guy. just look at him. I don't judge, but I'm judging.
Well, and I make the joke about he was on our radar, but all three of us are on so many government lists right now that it's
yeah.
At this point, it's not if I'm on a list, it's how many.
Yeah. It's which one am I not on? Who do I need to call to get on their list?
I'm just happy I can get on an airplane.
Right.
Whiskey River Beef, farm to table with a twist. Come along with us on a quest towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production and fostering a robust local food source to promote good health. Stock up with premium Tennessee beef, unparalleled in flavor and tenderness. You can be confident that you're receiving beef with no added growth hormones or implants. Always pasture-raised, locally USDA processed, and shipped straight to your home. Whiskey River Beef is grass and whiskey mash fed and finished, and is at least 14 days dry aged to enhance the tenderness and give you the most robust flavor imaginable. Go to whiskeyriverbeef.com today to order. Visit us on Instagram at Whiskey River Life and on Facebook at Whiskey River Beef LLC. Whiskey River Beef is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
So there we go. There's our jack wagons. I think that does justice. Do we have any heroes? Any like specific people that haven't been getting the credit that they deserve?
I have one, but I don't think that this individual has a problem getting credit because, she is constantly in the news.
Okay.
Yes. The governor of South Dakota actually went through and helped push a pro-firearms bill through South Dakota, and signed it into, it was an amendment to some of our carry laws.
Yeah.
And it changed it to, if you have our enhanced concealed carry permit, because we are a constitutional carry, and the enhanced permit is just, you have to go to a class to get it, meaning you've taken the opportunity to get training. So if you have the enhanced permit and permission from your child's or from the principal of your child's school, like in writing, you can conceal carry on campus and in the school. So when you're dropping your kids off or picking up, if the principal gives you permission, like, yep, this is a trustworthy individual, then you can actually go armed into the school.
Is this Christy Gnomes? Is that?
Yes, this is Christy Gnome.
Christy Gnome. Okay, so Christy Gnome, you are this month's Leadhead Brigade hero, and you get a ride on Lead Force One. Hey,
I think that's a pretty solid thing for a governor to do. To be like, yep, you know what? Like, we'll let our citizenry protect their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's not met any resistance with that? Has there like been an appeal?
Oh no, it already has passed, and she signed it, and it becomes effective. I didn't look to see if it becomes effective July 1 or immediately, but Yeah, we are a very
Now, do you know this Christy Nome? Do you know her?
We've met, but not. I don't know her personally, but we have met.
I just looked her up.
Yep, she's a former representative at the federal level, and then she is in her second term as governor of South Dakota.
I would like to have her on the show.
Now, she is a.
I've had the governor of Idaho on.
She actually might come on the show. She definitely is not afraid to be controversial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not controversial.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, when I say that,
to our point of view, we're not.
she has sent troops from South Dakota to the border to assist Texas as Texas state active duty.
Yeah.
Like we just said, hey, we're sending people down, and we actually sent some of our bridge guys down to go down and help out in Texas. Like, hey, you guys are doing 60 to 90 days. And they went down to just help out for some surge stuff.
Nice.
And we've been federalized, and it's like, oh no, we're doing border stuff. We're going to send all the troops we can. Actually, the last bit with all the stuff at Eagle Pass, they sent 5 truckloads of concertina wire down.
That's where the concertina wire keeps coming from.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's get into talking about that. So that does it for our heroes and jack wagons. And if you guys have any, email me, talkingled at gmail.com. If you've got jack wagon nominations, you got heroes, we will read them here on the show and give you credit for that. If I remember. If I remember to do that. So let's jump into the main part now. We want to talk about the border because it is an ongoing issue. It's a problem. We all know it. Is it a crisis? I don't know that it's a crisis or not. It is a problem. It's very fucking annoying. It's very frustrating. We all know the cons, of what this is doing to our country. And, it's
going back to heroes.
Trying to be as positive as I can about it, but it's just.
Oh, it is what it is.
It is a problem. It's a problem. But again, I don't know that it's a crisis. I don't know that it's an emergency. I think this is something that could very easily be taken care of and solved as long as all parties would get on board and do the right thing. Because
there's a handful of things. Because one, it's a crisis because they want it to be a crisis, and it's a problem because
they need it to be a crisis.
And
they need it to be a crisis.
And the powers that be want it to be a problem because it's beneficial to both sides. And like that is a fact.
Yeah,
that is a fact.
The other thing that we should include into this is some heroes. There's some unsung heroes, because when we talk about these things, inevitably people will talk about CBP and Border Patrol, and not so much all of the leadership. Like I'm not going to throw all the leadership under the bus, but majority of the agents I have met are all solid, great dudes trying their best. And they have the worst job in America because everyone on both sides of the aisle thinks they're doing their job wrong. It's one side thinks that they are absolute Satan, like whipping people to death. And the other side says, you're not going far enough.
There's no pleasing. You can't win. It's one of those deals.
Everyone hates them. And I think that's the best way to put it. Would you say so, Austin?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Like I met a few pretty solid people.
Yep.
So the government agency that's in charge of the board, it falls under the Department of Homeland Security, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in that, you've got the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. You've got the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and you got the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Those are kind of the bodies that, I guess, enforce the immigration.
All the same glove.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then within that, you've got obviously the United States Armed Forces. You got the Coast Guard. you got the Army, you got the National Guard, that they call in, whether, and we're going to talk about those orders that you were talking about, whether it's federal or state orders to do their job. So did the map come up?
Yes.
All right. So just to give you an idea, I mean, this is the borders of the United States. So technically we only have 2 countries that we're bordered against land-wise. And then you get into the maritime borders and all that, and that gets really confusing.
The world's largest unprotected border is actually between the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
just trees up there.
Which is where this area?
Mm-hmm.
That's north. The north.
Up north?
Yeah. Up there with all the hockey players and the syrup, eh?
Around the Great Lakes area is where you're
Now, would you believe this? But they are actually flying themselves up there, the immigrants, to Canada. Canada has a thing to where you can come visit from Mexico, and they just ignore those visitation rights. They just come down to the border into New York and stuff. They're doing that now.
Well, here's another thing that's happening too. When you say flying, and I was kind of going to do order of operation, but Biden's got this thing to where he's flying immigrants in to the United States. Also, he's flying. I think they've flown something like nearly 400,000 immigrants in. So that doesn't count. They don't count that inflow of immigrants.
Are they calling them refugees?
They are calling them. Oh, what is it? There's some sort of bullshit program that the CBP won or something like that. There's an app that they can actually get on and sign up, but they have to do a background check supposedly.
Allegedly.
That's
well,
one of the
I mean,
stipulations.
if you look back, everyone goes, "Oh, where did this 19-year-old get these high-powered weapons and pass these background checks, even though they don't know what gender they are?" All of those things, like other than the federal government, like where else do you pass those background checks?
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of background check it is.
It's probably a NICS check.
When I was getting my stats today, so, there's somewhere around 5,000 illegal immigrants that we catch, right? That come through the border. There's many, many more thousands that go uncounted.
I was going to say daily.
Daily, 5,000 per day.
Well, that depends on the area you're in.
I think that might be is that an average, or is that just one area of the country that they're getting the 5,000?
That might be sector.
Because there's a whole lot more than that, right?
Well, so this is my
big border down there in the south.
My data is a little bit dated, admittedly so, because I was so first off, I will state anything I say is only my opinion and not that of any official capacity
of the government.
For the government or the South Dakota Army National Guard or the United States Army. This is only the opinion of me.
Or the Talking About podcast.
I will have to say the same thing.
The views and opinions. The views and opinions suggested in this broadcast.
Well, let's start off with talking about your bona fides. So, Nick, talk about your military history.
So I have been in the Army Guard for 23 years now. I got to do the whole invasion of Iraq thing. Like I was in Iraq 03, 04 for 18 months, and like got to do a lot of kind of cool guy adjacent stuff there.
Why aren't you a colonel?
Well, because I've been enlisted. And then I have this problem. I had a commander once call me aggressively honest.
Punch him? You aggressively, honestly punch him?
No, I didn't punch anyone. I just apparently you're supposed to I am not a yes man or a kiss ass. They'll come through and, oh hey, this is what's going on, and something will come out, and I'll just turn around and be like, all right, well, I'm going to tell you all the ways that won't work, and this is why we need to do it my way.
You're like Gunny in Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, I learned from some
Tom Cruise from Top Gun?
I learned from some really old school NCOs how to do things, and it doesn't jive well with current. So I get promoted out of spite because they're like, we have no one else left, and we need someone who can do this. And now they just went, well, he likes teaching people how to shoot, so we're just going to put him over here and just so now all I do is teach marksmanship. But my most recent deployment, I spent 13 months attached to Border Patrol in Arizona. So
okay.
I don't do year-long deployments. I do
year and a month.
I if I'm down there, it's going to be gone for over a year. Like 400 days means I'm going to be gone for a minimum of 400 days.
You're like, don't waste my time with a year. Come on,
Yeah.
give me a little more.
That's for Quakers.
Yeah. So Austin, what's your bona fides?
All right, so I do
Feedness.
not have 23 years. I have 4 years in the National Guard, and that's it. I did it kind of last minute. Like, it felt like I was missing out on something I didn't do. So I went ahead and, hey, honey, can I join the Army? Please. But I'll do this. I feel like I didn't do something I should have. But here I am.
Good for you.
And
Seriously, good for you, man.
thank you.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like when I met my wife, she was in the Air Guard, and she retired at 23 years. So
Smart. So
That is a
doing my
regret
thing.
that you will never have. So,
I will not. Well, I originally was going to do the Marines. So,
well,
when I was
there's a
right out of
regret
high
you'll
school.
never have also.
I can say I served at least a little bit. But I've been in 4 years.
Look at there,
I've
Nick.
been
4 years and he's already a sergeant.
hey,
Yeah.
man, that's awesome. And,
I had a degree. I had a bachelor's degree, and I guess that
yeah,
buffed me up.
I got in, and like I literally joined on a whim. I walked into a recruiter's office the Saturday before 9/11.
Oh wow!
Oh, I've
You
heard a
didn't know
few
what
of those
was coming.
stories. I've heard a
Oh,
few.
No, like I walked in there super hungover. The guy's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know. I could do this for like the next 6 years or so, I guess."
I guess. Beats
Is this
Brandon
still South
Cow.
Dakota?
Yeah. Oh yes, it was South Dakota Guard. I joined
Okay.
a transportation company because they're like, "Oh hey," they looked at my ASVAB scores and they're like, "So you can literally do anything. Would you like to go to this unit, be a combat medic, or these guys would be an intel specialist?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do you got like here?" And they go, "Well, we have 2 transportation companies." And I looked out and I was like, "Oh, transportation, right on." And I was like, "Which one drives those semis?" And he's like, "Oh, 740 does." And I was like, "Right on. Well, I got a CDL and like know how to drive a semi, so I guess I'll just do that." And then like I started doing convoy security stuff and things like that when I got to Iraq and driving truck, and so I got to do a lot of interesting things and did some cool stuff all over the U.S. With that as well, because well, sometimes things need to go places, and
Things that make
hey,
you glow in the dark.
yeah, occasionally. I've been to
Hey.
some really cool places,
Been to
and
Knoxville a few times.
yep.
Oak Ridge.
And it's like, oh hey, we're gonna roll through here, and yeah, well, we're just gonna take this little trip from Alabama to Indiana with a detour on the way, right close to Nashville. And you go, all right, too easy. But so just I like happenstance my way through a lot of stuff, and just that's how things worked out for me.
My wife literally picked what school I was going to, what MOS. It's like, hey,
Austin,
11
too much
Bravo.
information. Too much information, brother.
Yeah, like see, that's the difference.
You're losing respect from the lead head. Come on.
See, no, it's like he went through this. He's like, man, 4 years he made E5. I was like, man, whatever. Kind of hungover. Made E5 in 7 years. Like I was king of the E4 mafia when I made E5, and it's all those things. Are just like, oh no, I'm the guy you call when you need things done.
I love my E4s.
As long as you don't ask questions.
So Austin, what's your specialty? What do you specialize in?
I am specialized in a bridge crew member, 12 Charlie, engineer company. and been put onto the border since 2021 in November. And I got out of OLS, which is Operation Lone Star, in June of 2022. And then immediately after that, I got put onto, it's called Texas Tactical Border Force. It's the response unit to anything that happens onto the border. So we get flown out in a, what was that, C170?
C-131?
C-130.
C-130?
And we get flown out. So I've been flown out to McAllen and to El Paso in October.
So do you guys, when you fly on the C-130, do you get the awesome troop seats?
Yeah.
The metal and or rather the cargo netting.
Metal
ones.
cargo
Yes,
nets.
cargo netting.
Yeah,
A
the
flag
cargo
up there a few times. Yep.
Yep, the cargo net seats. Those are the worst seats on the planet because they're made to be about as wide as my nipples, and but it's like trying to sit down.
I mean, come on, Dooley. Let in all honesty, I mean, you're a big dude, and your nipples are probably 3 times the size of the normal size guy. Come on.
Yeah, they're definitely not 18 inches wide. I will say that. It's at least the seats aren't. It's those cargo seats are tiny.
You were I don't know, were you ordered to go? You stationed? What do they call it when you were sent to the border?
So So this is one that Austin and I will talk about a little bit. We were there on different orders because I know a little bit about Operation Lone Star because I have a lot of friends from several states who are part of that. And then
what is Operation Lone Star? Is that where the states are chipping in to help Abbott out?
Mm-hmm.
More or less, yeah. So what we get is this will be difference of Title 32 versus, Title 32 state active duty and Title 10 orders.
And Title 10 orders are federal.
Title 10 orders are federal. So when I was activated, I was there on a Title 10 federal order attached to CBP.
When I was Title 32 state active duty.
Okay. And what was the time frame that you were down there, Dooley?
So I left in October 3rd of 2021, and I came home the week or the Thursday before Thanksgiving of 2022. Yeah.
2021, 22. Okay.
So I was there for 13 months, all of 2022. And I was like, I just had to do the math on which year it was now.
I thought it was like 2022 to 2023, but it's 2021.
Yeah. Oh, I started in 2021. So I was there for, it was 3 months of 2021 and then pretty much all of 2022 during the election year. And there was some interesting shenanigans that happened on the border during the election cycle.
Okay. We want to put a pin in that. Yeah. So Austin, talk about your orders.
So my orders, I first landed in Del Rio, which is just an hour west of Uvalde. We've all heard of Uvalde by now.
The school
I've never thought the Uvalde would be so known until now. But after that, I was moved to. It's just a camp in Del Rio that they figure out where you're going to go. I was moved to Carrizo Springs, where they put us onto a ranch and just started building fence line. I was put on clearing, fencing. That's about it from there. And after that, I got moved to the boat teams. We actually built the boat teams.
Oh,
we started with the ICACs, and then they just now got some fan boats down there. Yeah.
Is that around the Rio Grande?
Uh-huh.
Doing the Rio Grande.
I think all the boat teams have spread out from Brownsville all the way up to I'm gonna say Eagle Pass. I'm pretty sure they still got boat teams in El Paso too, though. I'm not sure. I don't know. The water's not deep enough there for that. I'll take that back.
Okay. And another thing that's just happened in Texas is Governor Abbott was trying to get a law passed to arrest illegal migrants in Texas, and the Supreme Court, I guess, put a hold on it recently. And have you guys heard about that?
I thought there was a federal court that stalled it, and then the Supreme Court said, no, you're good to go.
No. New Orleans was the last ruling on it, and they've still got a hold on it. That's what I read today. As of March 27th.
It might have been that they agreed to hear the case then.
But they put a hold on it. Yeah, it's still on hold.
I mean, the whole reason we put up the fence is so that way you can try whoever breaks through there for breaking and entering or something like that and trespassing.
The wire that Biden ordered cut down.
Yeah,
all the wire that went up. So talk about that a little bit before we get into what all you guys did, because that's interesting to me, because Texas is trying to, handle things on their own, not bringing in the federal government, which, they know they're not going to get help from them anyway. And then the federal, they put up all this, the razor wire. What do you call it?
Concertina wire.
Yeah, Constantine wire. And then the Biden administration ordered that it was unconstitutional or something, whatever. And then they sent the guard down there and cut it down, didn't they? They sent they
ordered the Border Patrol to cut it down or cut it open.
To cut it open.
What I understand.
And did they actually do that, or was that just kind of they just kind of went through the motions for the cameras and then they stopped when the cameras? The wire still up, or did they cut it all down?
I've heard that they've been cutting open wire when a big group of migrants show up at a certain spot. They cut it open
to let them through.
Yeah, which is annoying.
So that video that we saw, that was the Constantine wire there, and I guess they had to cut that, and then that's when they started rushing, charging in.
I mean, all you got to do is throw all those clothes that they take off, pile it up on Constantina wire, you can make a path. It just takes a while.
And it kind of depends upon the area you're at. Like where I was at in Arizona, that was where, like, everyone talks about Trump's border wall that he wanted to build. And, this is, again, just like the difference in areas that we were at, with Austin being along the Rio Grande and everything like that. Where I was, we didn't have a river. We had they call it the IBF, the International Border Fence.
Okay.
And that was in Arizona. And we occupied an area pretty much from New Mexico to just past Nogales. And yep, it is. When you get into that area, obviously, you're looking at a lot of scrub land and everything like that. There's a bunch of mesquite trees and things of that nature. But so they have the fence there, and George Bush actually started building the fence. There was people I knew who were down there who had they were guardsmen who had done an AT to build fences in Arizona. And it was in when George Bush was president. And when they did that, they were using, they were doing it cheap. It was only 18 feet tall. And that was the fence that he was building. The president that actually built the most border fence or border wall was Obama.
Yeah.
And there's actually a plaque of him shaking hands with the Border Patrol on the southern border fence. And it's the exact same as Trump's border wall.
Yeah. It's the exact same, yeah.
Oh, no. It's the exact same thing.
Where was his wall at?
No, they just build it, and Trump goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to build this. It's going to be glorious." He made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
But he just kept the program that Obama was doing going.
Yeah.
And it was the Obama administration started doing it. They're actually the ones who raised the height of the wall to 30 feet from 18.
So it's this map that I've got up here, Dooley. Whereabouts were you?
So if you look at, I was just south of Tucson.
Just south of Tucson.
Yep,
okay,
would be the So from Tucson to the if you stop right there, from that Nogales all the way to Agua Prieta is actually the area I spent the most time in.
What is it called?
So if you would go to what would be the right side of that map.
Over here?
Yep, right there, Agua Prieta and Douglas, Arizona was the area I spent the most time in.
Okay.
And like all of that was all area that we ran. And obviously there's no water there. So there was a lot of things there. It's actually, so I'm going to do a history nerd thing.
Doesn't agua mean water?
Yes, it literally means pretty water.
Pretty water.
And like that's the name of the large Mexican city on the other side of Douglas.
Like my pool's bigger than that.
And
right there.
the city of Agua Prieta is actually where Pancho Villa was based out of.
Pancho,
and it's very interesting because that is where like the very first time that the U.S. Army ever used a gun truck or a vehicle mounted machine gun was actually in that area in the chase for Pancho Villa.
Okay.
And that was all right in that area. General Patton was the lieutenant in charge of it. And that's where that is where modern machine gun theory, or gun truck theory came up. So it's neat for a nerd like that for me who did a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
no, so I spent a lot of time in that area, and they would ditch clothes, but they would come across in camo clothes and then ditch them when they got to the road. Or they would try and cross in the town and go to a Walmart, which is about 200 meters from the fence.
Yeah.
And then once they hit the Walmart, they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's like the Walmart on both sides, so they could go in the front and exit out the back and be in the United States.
Almost.
Kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed there's an airport nearby too, the Douglas Municipal Airport.
Yeah. And
is that where they're flying a lot of them out of?
No, that is a crop duster strip, and there's like 3 planes that are there.
Three whole planes. They make it sound like it's a huge Douglas Municipal Airport.
Yeah, it's actually the Bisbee Airport is about 12 miles away, and it's bigger. And it's but so another fun fact, just about 4 miles to the other side, you can see the other airstrip there.
Cochise?
Yep, the Cochise Community College. That is where the 9/11 hijackers went to school to learn how to fly airplanes.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Because they got across the border here.
Wow.
And went there and learned. You know, and what's fascinating to me is that, I mean, you look at the map. So you got immigrants from all over. You got them from Africa coming in through Mexico. So these people are making a trek from Africa. I don't know how they're getting a boat or what.
We busted Romanians.
Even Romanians.
Yeah, well, they were smugglers. Like they were straight up bringing something in, and they may have been double crossed and then tried to play the lost tourist thing. But it's like, oh no, we are a Romanian tourist. It's like, no, you're not, dude. Shut up.
We are in Tijuana. Come on. It was a bachelor party.
Like, how did you wind up 15 miles in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, but that's basically, you know, we talk about the terrorists and everything that are coming through too. They're all coming through this southern border here. The majority of them, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we do have a lot coming through Canada also.
Yep. There are a bunch coming through the north, and there used to be a term, and I'm not sure if they still use it, but it was OTM.
And what is
Oscar Tango Mike. Other than Mexican.
I haven't heard that one.
What's that?
I like it. I haven't heard that.
No, that was they'd be like, well, what are they? The OTMs? And it's like, oh, they're coming across. All right. You know, it's because where we were at, the station that I worked with the most, they were a turn back south, or a catch and release station. So they'd go through and we'd hook them, and they'd have them, and as soon as they got a bus load processed, they'd do facial rec and biometrics and be like, okay, well, you're not a felon and wanted in the U.S. We're gonna take you back to Mexico. So they'd fill this bus up, drive across, and they took them to what they called the train gate, and everybody made a joke about, we're taking them to the train station.
Yellowstone.
And then they would dump them all out, and then, like, quite literally, we caught the same guy 3 times in one day.
Oh shit!
3 times in one day.
And it's like,
and all you can do is just turn him around and put him back on the bus, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that's all
they,
you can.
They get a Capri Sun and a Lunchable pretty much, and they're like, okay, you guys hang tough.
So he's getting 3 squares a day.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of work to go through.
So how many a day were you doing that with?
So
just in your area right there.
So we owned, like, for what our company did, we had a large area. We had over 150 miles of border. And we would have days where we had nothing. And then we'd have days where we'd be catching, like, sometimes 60 and 70 per shift per location.
Right.
And I know that because we kept track with everything on all of, it was task force for us. And we could look at all of task force numbers. And there were parts of it, like Eagle Pass was one of the big ones, and they would have what they called give ups. Mm-hmm. And this was when you saw, like, the refugee trains coming north, and they would wade across the river, and then they would just have, like, groups of 200 and 300 give up and be like, oh, hey, we're here, because the policy of those stations wasn't to deport automatically. And so they would get in and then be like, oh, no, we're going to talk to Border Patrol. Now we have to wait for our hearing.
So between San Diego and, which is California, all the way to Texas, which goes to, looks like, what is this?
Brownsville.
Boca Chica Village. South Padre, just south of South Padre Island, basically, is our border. How many stations do we have set up on this border? Do you know?
It's supposed to be one every 50 miles or so.
Yeah.
Really? That's a lot, because that's a long way. I don't know how many miles that is, but that's a long ass way.
I say or so because there's more than that. And so one distinction.
So there's actually more than that.
Well, because you have headquarters stations as well. So, like, where I was at, because I dealt heavily with CBP, who actually are doing an amazing job with the hand they get dealt. So, like, we had my unit worked closely with 4 stations. And in the 4 stations that we had
so that's roughly 1,568 miles.
Yeah, we had
1,600 miles of border.
We worked closely with 4 stations, and there was one station we didn't work with because they were a satellite station. And then there was a headquarters station that was close to us that we didn't have to, because they weren't a line station. And so we had, like, that's what I say is roughly every 50 miles you can figure out a station. There's probably places where it's more, and there's probably places where it's less.
Yeah. Okay. So, and when they're given these numbers of 5,000 per day, you think it's a lot higher than that?
Oh yeah.
Just on this southern border here, because I don't think they're counting the northern or the maritime or anything like that.
I only have data on one small stretch.
Okay. All right.
Introducing our new belly band holster. Whether you're hitting the gym or running a quick errand, our belly band is one of the most comfortable and safest ways to carry your firearm. The center section allows you to carry most common pistols. Left or right-handed, this has you covered. A hard laminate trigger shield protects the firearm's trigger from unwanted intrusion, giving you ease of mind while carrying every day. 2 elastic sleeves give you the flexibility to carry other everyday items, such as spare mags, flashlight, knife, or pepper spray. 2 zippered pockets run on both sides, offering the option to carry smaller items such as money, cards, or keys. Flush fit on your lower back or waist, easily keeping your setup discreet no matter how you choose to carry. Utilizing 3D spacer mesh, these channels allow for exceptional and efficient airflow, giving you maximum comfort and keeping you cool. Carry whenever you want, how you want, with our new belly band holster. Available now.
Go to missionfirsttactical.com, use the code LEADHEAD for an exclusive listener-only 20% discount.
Well, let's go to Austin now. Austin, where were you stationed?
So I was first stationed Carrizo Springs.
Where's my? You see my cursor?
Yeah. Go to the right, and then probably around in that general area, a little north of Laredo, Carrizo Springs.
Laredo,
Out in the West Texas.
Oh, right here.
Laredo.
That's not how it goes.
I know.
Yeah, Laredo
It's
is like
not
2
bad.
hours south of Carrizo Springs, I believe, if I remember correctly. So go north.
Carrizo is spicy.
It's there. It is to your left. Yep.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I see it.
Yep. And we would.
You were there?
That's where I was living at.
Okay, but you were traveling down
A
here.
great thing about that Carrizo Springs is there's a
Wow.
owner had a range. You pay $60 a year to free access to the range
At Carrizo.
at Carrizo Springs.
Did you get a
So I
military
did
discount?
that. He didn't really have any of those. It was $60 for the whole year, and you get the key to the gate.
Yeah, and I wasn't allowed to bring any personal firearms.
Oh,
You weren't?
I was not allowed to do that, and I would never, ever break those rules.
I'm with you. So you were here for how long?
I was there for a month and a half. Or
Okay.
2 months, if I remember correctly.
And were you also 150-mile basic radius that you guys were covering?
So we would every morning we'd go down to the ranch we were working on, and I think it was what's the town to the left over there?
Oh, to the left or right?
Is that Eagle Pass? To the west, yeah, Eagle Pass. We would go to Eagle Pass, near Eagle Pass, and there's a
Isn't that where they
ranch.
do the Kalash Bash?
Kalash Pass is
Eagle
no.
Pass?
No, it's near closer to Houston, I believe.
I think it's an Eagle Pass though.
Is it Eagle Pass this year?
I'm sure there's more than one Eagle Pass though in Texas.
Maybe.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So we would be clearing I forget the ranch. The ranch was enormous. They had cameras and everything on the whole entire
Is it
ranch.
east, northwest?
It's south of it, south of Eagle Pass.
Okay, so down this way.
So around where your mouse was at, yeah. We would. I really have no contact with the
Eagle Lake.
migrant stuff.
Eagle
That
Lake.
would,
Okay, yeah. I knew it was Eagle something.
Same, but different.
Yeah, but not.
Eagle Lake.
So how close to this airport were you?
I've never seen that airport.
Okay. Well, that's across the border there.
That's on the Mike side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was clearing and cutting down wire at the time, or installing wire and clearing land at the time.
Gotcha. So that's when it was. That's when it was okay to put the wire up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when we first started getting.
Are they still putting wire up now?
I think now it's just maintaining the wire
Okay.
for the most part.
Yeah.
So, Austin, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this comes from obviously different sides, from the Title 10 side to the Title 32 side.
Yeah.
Being attached to the federal side of it, I was really surprised to learn how kind of hamstringed the CBP was in some things, because like federal law enforcement can't pull over anyone for a traffic stop. so they can't just like pull someone over because they're like, oh, they pick someone up, I have to pull them over. Like they have to believe they committed a federal crime such as human trafficking. But they also
have to have probable cause, right? Yeah.
Well, it's beyond probable cause. Like they have to get a local sheriff's deputy to pull over the vehicle for them to check the immigration status of people. But the landowners in your area, were they cooperative? Because in the area I was at, there was a parcel of land that was purchased by some hippies.
Okay.
And they literally like had, like solar pumps to that would be for watering livestock, and they barred CBP from coming on. They wouldn't give them permission. So they would literally set up aid stations for the illegals with like, oh, we're going to put this food out here for them so they can come and get something to drink and all this stuff. And they'd have water and stuff set out, and you could look over and see them there, but we couldn't, like, they couldn't go get them because they didn't have permission to get onto that property.
Yeah.
Was that an issue in your area?
That I do not know, but they're actually getting paid to get a whole new fence installed, from what my understanding is, for that ranch owner that we were on.
So he was all about
it. He was all about it and cooperating no matter what. That's hilarious. About that.
Yeah, no, that was like that's a very big thing, because CBP can't go on to private property unless they have explicit permission.
But they do have to get permission for all that. I know that.
And yeah, it was interesting. This was close to Bisbee, Arizona, that had the people going. Bisbee, Arizona is the place that Charlie Manson said if he could live nowhere in the world, he'd live in Bisbee. Anywhere in the universe, he'd live in Bisbee.
Well, there's a glowing endorsement right there.
Oh, it's a super hippie town. Like, it used to be a mining town, and then it's a super hippie town. We walked through there to get lunch one day, and there was a bar, and I looked at it and I was like, well, that's interesting. And it was a whole bunch of like bust molds and like weird, like, that looks like a mold of a boob. All the waitresses had made plaster of Paris casts and just had them hanging. And like, there was a whole lot of septum piercings and stuff like that. But
septum piercings, that's the nose, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of weirdos. And one thing that I can tell, like, if you see photographs of people on the border doing things and they have an M4, you can almost guarantee that they're on Title 32.
Yeah.
So there's a picture.
You're looking at one right there. That's me.
And that would be a definition of an M4. That's not an AK.
No,
it's not an AK.
It's not an AK. I'm trying to switch it to the next one. I can't find where it's at. Oh, here it is. Boop.
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about the boat patrol. Talk about what you did on the boat patrol, Austin.
So we were really just testing the waters, how these boats would handle and stuff like that. But we were also calling it in, setting points on the equipment we had, the ATACs, stuff like that.
And what kind of boats are you using here?
Those are the ICACs.
They're a collapsible Zodiac, or
yeah.
They're an inflatable with a metal floor.
Those are these floors actually had they're like styrofoam with polymer on it. Yeah.
The new version.
The newer Zodiac. Yeah.
Are y'all going to go ram that bridge there? And that'll show them. They won't get across the
right.
Take that bridge out.
There's a lot of border patrol that by those train tracks too, to make sure nobody's hanging on top of those trains.
Now, well, you guys, either or both of you, are you specifically looking for, when you're down there, I guess, what are your orders? What are you ordered to do while you're down there?
Our orders down there while we're on the water is for deterrence. That was our goal, is for deterrence.
Deter what? People from crossing?
Deter people from crossing. That's
and how did you go about doing that?
Just being there.
just But you weren't allowed to like put your hand on their forehead or anything, say no, or
Now, when I
simply
left,
stop them from crossing.
when I had just got off of the mission on the boat teams, they had a rush of people showing up, and for when I was in the water, there hardly anybody crossed at the time. There was one instance where this one like I swear he was almost naked, but he would guide people across. And there was that day of I remember seeing it on Fox News where they would have that little cliff that had the little steps and the sea wire clothing all over it. If I'd see the picture, I'd show you. Probably find it.
You only sent me these.
Is that all I sent you?
That's all the ones I got. Is that one, and that one.
That's a terrible selection.
Let me see what
you know why? It's because all the stuff I have is video. That's like like the small amount of pictures I had.
Oh, we'll pull it up on yours and share it on yours.
All right.
I can do it like so. This one is that the one that you sent me that you're talking about?
This is my the Oh yeah, that's actually Brownsville.
Mostly closed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Brownsville State. So right across the river from here is a actual immigrant camp. So you hear all that? It sounds like in old days.
Yeah, sound like the horse and shoes or something.
Horse and carriages.
Horse and chewing horses. I said horse and shoes. Chewing horses. My alpha brain ain't kicking in.
So when we got down to Brownsville,
these are the clothes that you're talking about that they just leave behind.
Yeah.
Man, they say you can't smell a picture, but
smells like dirty buttholes and armpits.
All of those clothes are wet and have been just sitting out there baking in the sun.
June. This is June or May.
You know, people are pissing and shitting in their pants.
Mm-hmm. I've watched lots of people pissing and shitting in the river right across on the Mike side.
And then just downstream, they're bathing and drinking.
Pretty much.
So what were your orders, Dooley? What were your specific orders?
Ours were different because we were not there to deter. I shouldn't say that we weren't there to deter. We were there as an asset. We were taking over. We were operating what was called MSC trucks, and then we actually had people operating inside Border Patrol stations, and we were doing the bulk of their surveillance work. And so the MSC trucks and scope trucks that I'm sure Austin is familiar with, we actually were operating all of those and we were operating those so agents could be in the field was the theory behind it. And we were Paul Blart Mall Cop rules, like straight up observe and report. Like
exactly, yeah.
And our remote personnel were, like they got M9s and 15 rounds, and there's a whole bunch of dances to go around with it. I was the most remote person, like with my tasking. I was called Sergeant of the Guard. I drove around and made sure these, my 4 or 5 sites were doing well, and checking on everyone doing all this. So I was constantly roving around and kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
I was the only person they didn't have kind of constant contact with, and they were like, "We can't just give you a gun." And I was like, "Yeah, why would you give the guy who has to sign off on everyone's firearms training the guns? Whatever." But no, so we were actually running all of the cameras and thermal systems and doing all of the recording. So anytime that agents would be having a hands-on encounter with a migrant, our guys would be putting eyes on that with the cameras and then recording everything. And then they were seeing where things were jumping across and then calling and walking agents in. And we're actually it was call for fire missions would be the easiest way to say what we were doing. It's like, hey, I've got these guys coming in. They're at these grid, and we'd laze them and be pushing them through, and they would watch them going through the bush. And
you say you laze them. What do you talk? Yeah, talk about some of the equipment that you guys are using thermals and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff?
yeah, we were heavily reliant on thermals. So the MSC truck is not a new thing. Part of the reason why I know that before we came on the air, I was talking about some of the issues we had was with posse comitatus, was why we were not allowed to do anything on Title 10 orders, which I always said Title 10 is, federal versus Title 10 or Title 32 is the state orders. And that has to do with posse comitatus.
Yeah.
Which
Hakuna Matata.
So I will give you the proper definition of posse comitatus. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, which removed the military from regular civil law enforcement, was enacted in response to the abuses resulting from the extensive use of the Army in the Civil War. So they made it illegal to have the military be the police. And here I'm going to share a picture now.
Okay.
Did that pop up?
Got it.
There it is.
So this truck right here, you can see it has radar on top, and it has this ball here, can see for a very long ways.
Okay.
And then there are operators in the cab facing back that are running it. This is all generator and computer stuff mounted to the back of the pickup. And we had people picking up bodies and walking agents in 10 miles away from those trucks on thermal.
Holy shit.
Damn, that's some nice equipment.
That's some
Well,
nice.
And those were the trucks they were getting rid of. Those were the old ones.
Oh.
The new ones have a higher resolution sensor. But we were doing that, and it was like, oh, hey, but at 10 miles, that's not being like, oh, I can see what they're doing. It's you see figures,
See movement.
Those aren't cows. Cows don't move like that.
Right.
It's cows don't walk in a line like that. Those are bodies. And
then they're coming towards you,
well, they were actually trying to climb a mountain 8 miles away.
Now would this have been like one of those mules or whatever they call them, bringing his herd in of immigrants?
Yep, this would have been one of those. So they had there was a huge epidemic of, it's actually high school kids contacted through like Facebook and WhatsApp were being brought in big time into the smuggling. And anywhere you go over there, they have signs that's like, if you try and run, you'll get in trouble. Like it says that. It's like, just stop. If you get pulled over, just stop and you'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're, oh, hey, we're pulling you over. Is everyone here a citizen? Well, I am. Who are these guys? I don't know. I just saw them on the side of the road and I thought they needed a ride. They can't.
Just play dumb. But they're paying these people. They're paying these people. You're saying the high school and people. They're paying them good money to
$1,500 a head. $1,500 a head, and
this is huge business.
So you would see like these high school kids come down, and there's like we had vehicles that we could mark as like you saw them driving down the highway. You'd be like, that's a load up. Like you could just tell, like that one's. But they drive in, and it was always like, okay, yep. And then they'd pull up because they would literally get like a Google pin shared with them. And they would just drive up, and then these guys would jump out of the ditch and get in with them. And then as soon as they picked them up, they'd start driving back to the highway, and they'd get like an address in Tucson or something like that for a safe house.
Yeah.
And they would drive up, and the guy would come out and be like, oh, you brought me 5 guys. Here's $7,500. And
it's like that. Boom. Cash money.
Hand him $7,500 cash money. And like
better than Uber.
Oh, well, I remember when I was 16.
There's really like no risk because you said, if you get pulled over, don't run, just stop.
Yeah.
And they let you go, but I mean, you're going to lose that money, but.
Oh yeah. And it's like after the 8th time they catch you, they'll be like, all right, we're going to like impound your car.
I was reading an article today, and some chick was doing this. She'd done it for several years, like 8 years. She'd been doing this, and she finally got busted. And they brought her up on some sort of federal charges or something. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you think about that. I mean, how many of those they're doing a week, a month?
Literally, like quite literally, that an old lady. We knew her car, like her car driving down the road. We knew it by sight, on thermal. Like we're like, oh, like that's Mabel's car. Like that tells you how often this happened. But she was going through it. They're like,
meanwhile, coming back.
No, it was, why are you doing this? And she's like, well, the kids need Christmas presents. It was like.
But that's the thing. I mean, you see these movies where they depict like a soccer mom, or not, but a single mom in her, her van. And she's got her baby with her, and she's making these runs. But I mean, people are literally doing that.
No, that's real life.
That's real.
It's the stuff I saw. Like we had a guy who was a deputy sheriff at at home, and he was working at the port of entry in his town, and coming across, he looked over and he saw this truck driver, and he just looked up and he was like, hey, you guys need to check that vehicle. And CBP was like, why? And he was like, you just need to check that vehicle. It's like he saw the guy and he was just like white knuckle on the steering wheel, like cartoon sweat boiling off the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's going on there, but that dude's terrified of something. And they found like 8 tons of fentanyl in that truck.
Oh, wow.
And it was all loaded in like washing machines coming over the border.
Well, that's a big, I guess, controversial issue too, is especially down by the border, because people say, illegal search and seizure, that's against the Constitution of the United States, unless you've got a warrant, or something like that. But there's a special law or whatever that says within 100 miles of the border, police don't need a warrant to do that. They can,
there's
for whatever.
There's a certain amount of search you can do. And like, that's so like, there was some crazy stuff like that 8 tons of fentanyl, like that's a lot of hooch.
That's a lot. 8 tons.
Yeah. It's like, oh, did you guys find a lot of drugs? Yeah, we found tons of drugs. Oh, like a lot? No, like tons.
Literally in weight, tons of.
The funniest story about drugs, though, there's this, like abuela is Spanish for grandmother, pretty much. There was this gal who, older gal, was like, somebody's abuela's on the phone. Some, like, you guys need to go check this out. So I got told, hey, follow us. You're going to get a kick out of this, by one of the agents. So I drove down to do this. And they pull up, and you guys are familiar with pumpkin chunking?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like, the thing where they launch pumpkins like out of these giant air cannons.
Okay. It's like potatoes.
Yeah, like a giant spud gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for pumpkins.
Yeah. Okay. So think of one of those, but they have it mounted to the back of a truck, and they back up to the border fence, and they shoot this missile over the top that was 175 pounds of weed. And whoever their fister was didn't get their call right, because it went right through this old woman's roof, like landed in her living room. So she calls 911. It is like going through. So I'm there, and she's like, it's not mine.
I swear.
Everybody's like, don't worry, we know it's not yours. But yeah, this drug missile of weed went through her roof and landed in her living room. And I'm just waiting for like Farmers Insurance? Like at Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Like explain that one to the home insurance company.
Oh my gosh. It's like, sorry, ma'am, that's not in your policy. We don't cover that.
Yeah.
That's not really an act of
I
God.
guarantee you that's the jib she got from her insurance company. Because what's worse than drug traffickers? Insurance company.
Yeah, like I just want you to think about that. Like this, I don't know what this is. It just fell from the sky.
It was manna from heaven. Come on. She looked a gift horse in the mouth. She had her retirement right there in front of her. She blew it. Come on, Granny.
Yeah, like that's
presence.
Stuff like that happened. It's just like, what is this?
So let me ask you this. Did you ever have any physical resistance? Or did you have to exert physical force in any way while you were on duty that you can talk about?
No, I did not.
Wait, Austin.
Same. No, I did not.
No, you did not?
No.
In what circumstances would you be able to, I guess, only if you were being shot at?
I guess it depends on the situation. So when I was in El Paso in October, I had a whole different rough brief or rules of force. It was completely different from what I was used to. It's like, before it was just pretty much just sit and take it if something happens. After that, but in El Paso, it's like equal force. Say they have fists and arms, you use fists and arms.
So, for instance, like that video that we saw where they were bum rushing, and they were just standing there holding their ground. If they actually had bats and things and were hitting them, would they have been able, or would they have ordered to just let them through? Probably at that. From
the looks of that video, it looked like they had their M4s on them, and we do carry a full mag loaded, ready to go.
Yeah,
usually on the line. Yeah. So,
but they're not. I mean, for a circumstance like that where it's just people pushing and trying to get through,
pushing. It's still you can't use deadly force.
Anything other than just get out of their way.
Pretty much, you gotta get out of the way.
Yeah, because why would you stand? Because there's another fence right there. They're not going anywhere. I mean, what
exactly?
Why would they have even just stood there in front of them? I don't understand that either. Just to, I guess, justify.
The most immigrants I ran into was in El Paso. So, and you would think I had learned some Spanish while I was on this mission.
I mean, why would you?
I really didn't.
Make them learn English. That's still my stance. Still my stance. I mean, I've got friends that are Spanish, and but they speak English. They learn to speak English because they were coming to an English-speaking country. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So, as far as the drug cartels and terrorists and things like that, did you guys have any of those encounters when you were down there?
You could definitely see it across from the Rio Grande.
You can see the drug cartels.
Not the drug, but you could tell which one was cartel or not. Especially in El Paso, I noticed that between the federales immigration and then the cartel, 4 ATVs they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually, when we showed up, there was a cartel war going on.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
So there were times where we would look across the border and see tracers being exchanged.
Wow, that's actually kind of cool.
Like straight up, like front row seats to a gunfight, and it's like, who? One of the kids was like, "Hey, what's this?" And I was like, "Hey, that's did you call it in?" They're like, "Yeah, they told us not to worry about it." I was like, "Well, I wouldn't worry about it till they started coming this way." And
bullets are going left and right, north and up and down.
They're going east west, not so much north south.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. But did you guys encounter any, like firsthand, or did you hear of stories of people that did, Border Patrol Guard members that did encounter terrorist or the drug cartel?
100%. We actually had
that.
While I was there, we had agents get stabbed, and we didn't have any agents shot, and we didn't lose any from the stations I worked with. One of our liaisons had been shot by cartel members before, and was still on the force, and he's looking at retiring in the next year or two. Super good dude.
What was do you know what the circumstances were that he got shot?
Easiest way to put it is they found a tunnel, and he went to inspect the tunnel and got shot in the ass.
Oh, damn.
It was like, oh yeah, you want to see it? But
poor scump.
I mean, was that the end of it, or did they go after the?
Like there was an altercation. He won.
Okay.
And
very good.
No, but we had agents get stabbed while we were there. But with the other ones, like I talked about, we had a lot of different nationalities that we encountered, and there was,
what was that term other than
OTM, other than Mexican.
OTM, yeah.
OTM. And
would you say that's the majority?
Oh, yes,
the majority.
Well, it depended. Like there was times when it was a lot of local-ish Mexicans,
right?
And then there was when I was there was a ton of Guatemalans, and Guatemalans were huge. And just I know that it changed like what your geographic area was on the border, kind of who you had coming across.
Yeah.
And we also had we caught some Middle Easterners, and then we caught a lot of Asians.
Asians.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. A lot of Chinese nationals.
Chinese.
I've seen a few actually down in the lines.
Oh, yeah. We caught Chinese nationals, and then Romanians were smuggling weapons, and they got busted.
Do you treat the OTMs differently than the M's?
No, they're all
the same rules of engagement.
They're all tonks.
So if they come, you treat them the same way as if they come across, you put them on the bus, send them back, kind of deal.
Yeah, there's like, oh no, you're going back, and then unless it's like, oh hey, you have an Interpol flag,
then
you're going to this cage. And
did you see that video of that guy who said he will know my name soon enough?
Yeah,
that was crazy. And he wasn't on the watch list.
He was on a watch list, and he'd been released from Gitmo.
Oh wow! Didn't know the Gitmo part.
Yeah, like he had been detained at one point as a terrorist suspect. And
so he came through. He
literally
OTM, and then they recognized he got flagged. They put him to the side.
No, he just said it to a news crew. Like, you will know my name soon enough. I was like
English.
yelling at him
in English,
and then like he left, and they finally they did the Google Foo facial rec AI.
Shit.
They were like, "Oh, we found this dude. No, he's a terrorist. Like straight up."
Yeah.
He wasn't detained. He was just walking around free, or what?
Yeah, they just let him through.
Yeah. I forget where that was. Was it Eagle Pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And he got through the border.
Yeah.
Just walking on into our country, just walking around free. And what he means by "you will know my name soon" is he's going to do some sort of a mass murder event.
Yeah, he probably didn't come in here to sell Girl Scout cookies.
How long ago was this?
Probably like 4 months ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months, I was gonna say.
At the most.
So he's on their list then.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those, well, he was on our list.
So
we were on our watch list.
So one of the things that, like I've said before, like how I feel for Border Patrol. When I was down there, there was one point where they had a big wheel from Homeland come through. It was like the deputy director, something like that. Like, oh, this is number 2 or 3 in charge, and they're coming through. And I happened to be working that day, but for some reason, I managed to not be anywhere he was because I had his schedule. And I don't know how it happened that our schedules just didn't line up for me to meet the guy. But for whatever reason, I never got to meet him. Totally wasn't by design.
Because you're just a staff sergeant.
Well, no, they're like, oh, they thought that I should be there for the dog and pony show to show them around. And I was like,
you conveniently weren't there.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait, when's he gonna be where? Oh no, like turns out I had to do my route backwards that day. And
The Kel-Tec Sub 2000 is a name and firearm platform synonymous with innovation. This year, we're looking forward to welcoming even more to the fold with a twist. The new Sub 2003 takes Kel-Tec's iconic folding carbine to the next level. By allowing you to leave a fixed optic, lights, sights, or other accessories on the firearm even when it's folded away. To fold the carbine for storage, press down on the trigger guard while pulling back on the end. Rotate or twist the forend until a side slot on the leading end snaps into the retention latch on the buttstock. To unfold the carbine into the firing position, press the latch release button on the end of the buttstock and pull the forend up and away, while rotating or twisting it until the forend engages with an audible snap into the back half of the carbine. Compact and ready for use, the Sub 2003 weighs in unloaded at 4.2 pounds, with a compact folded length of 16.15 inches and an overall length of 30.45 inches when unfurled for use. From the backcountry to personal protection, this versatile go-anywhere tack driver is the perfect multi-purpose addition to any collection. Innovation, performance, Kel-Tec.
Well, let me ask you guys this.
I was gonna say I had one story about for this the guy who came through. It was strangely enough in
the You Will Know My Name guy.
No, this is the big wheel from Homeland.
Oh, the big wheel. Okay.
It was like mid to late September, right before October and the election. And when the time came, like, hey, it's a month before, like, we're going to turn in numbers for the last month before the election. He came through and he asked questions, and it was weird. Like, hey, what are these computers doing open here? Well, we don't have enough people to have people at these computers manning stuff because, well, where are they at? Well, they're in the field. Like, they're the ones out catching people. So the last month that we had people on mission, pretty much, they didn't have agents to call in because it was an election year, and they made all of the Border Patrol agents come back and sit and do paperwork for a month before the election
for looks.
They wouldn't let them go out, and then they're like, yeah, see, our policies are working. Look how low the numbers are.
Yeah, it's all fabricated. It's all, and that goes back to where I was saying they were flying people in too. That made the numbers drop also. So because they were flying them in, the immigrants, versus them crossing the border. So that lowered their numbers too. But back in 2019, they said 1,000 a day was putting a huge strain on the system as it was. And, the numbers now are well over 5,000 per day that they're getting. And that's not counting, the fly-ins that they do through that UAB Pro or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but
so again, when we were on mission, our 13 months on mission, we had over 150,000 apprehensions.
Yeah.
So
and that's apprehensions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about all the ones that didn't get apprehended. How many is that? Would you say that's double that number?
Easy.
That come in. So think about Guatemala. How many people are in Guatemala? the whole country of Guatemala has already migrated to the United States. The entire population of Guatemala has already, over the past, let's just say 10 years, but this has been going on for a lot longer than that with, people coming across our border. So where do all these people go when they get here? We know where they go.
Yeah, population of Guatemala is 17,980,000.
17 million. And half of those have already migrated to America. I wonder what it used to be. Used to be 28 million.
But
but they're still populating and having babies, I guess. So I don't know. It's just the numbers are mind-boggling and they're underreported. Again, like
that's an estimate.
They're so underreported to make their stats, especially this being an election year. You're going to see more of that dog and pony bullshit and number padding and stacking, and it's going to be ridiculous.
I mean, they were able to pass something, but just it being an election year, they decided not to pass it.
Yeah. Well, so your personal opinions on what's going on at the border. What needs to be done? And how does it need to be done? You guys have been down there. You've seen firsthand what's going on. You've seen the resources that we have. The resources that we have that we could use for it.
I think that's like a 3-phase question, because the answer is like what should we be doing is one, we should be like, CBP is tremendously understaffed.
Yeah.
And it's because nobody wants to work for them because they have been vilified by both sides of the aisle, and nobody wants to work there.
But they're so understaffed is because the border is open and there's so much coming through.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. I'm going to speak for some agents that I talk to. Like, they feel pointless. Like, they're like, it's my job's almost pointless.
Yeah, it's just for show.
They keep saying, like, I'm just here for retirement. Like, all I have to do is wait till I have hit this time and I can retire.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But, like, honestly, like, if we could get CBP up to staff and get the politicians out of the way to let them do their job properly. But the other half of that, which I think would be the more important thing, is we need to find out who is funding them to come across. Because, yes, there's always been illegals entering the country. Like, that's been a thing. Customs and Border Patrol was originally set up to stop illegal booze coming across during Prohibition. And then as that pushed on through, there's most definitely funding to get people here. Like, I don't know how else that many military age males get into the country without funding. And
that's what when I was saying they fly over here, they also have to be sponsored.
Yeah,
somebody's paying for them to fly over here in those planes, the 400,000 plus that come.
We need to find out how it is that they're showing up at the border with multiple sets of clothes, a brand new iPhone, and a sack lunch to come across.
Yeah.
And shut that money off. Because if you have the money to pay for an invasion, we also have the money to, like, properly fund the VA.
Yeah.
What about you? You got an opinion?
I mean, exactly what he said. Like, what's going on? Like, where's this? How are they being funded and stuff like that? I forgot who I was watching who followed where their migration route was. I forgot who that journalist was doing that. It was on YouTube probably. That they would get bust here and then take a boat over here and then show up somewhere along the border.
Well, they would go through, and when they hit the border, they'll even say where they're going. Like, oh yeah, we're going to go to New York, and they'll like ask their buddies, like, yeah, we're going to New York.
Yeah. There's also the immigration laws and stuff like that. Just remain in Mexico policy is what I remember. What was that? This is the whole reason why the Texas Tactical Border Force is what it is. Back in May of last year, what ended? What was it? Title something.
Title 42.
Yeah, Title
42. Yes, 42.
The COVID stuff.
Yes, COVID. Yeah, that thing that happened.
Yeah, COVID. Yeah, there was a mad rush when that was getting ready to expire. I remember that. But here's the thing is, and again, we know it. We know both sides of the aisle work together. If they really wanted to change this and stop this and make this better, they could do it. They could do it in a heartbeat. They could do it tomorrow and make things 200% better. But what are politicians gaining from this? You got to ask yourself, what is our government? What are the politicians gaining by allowing all this illegal immigration? Because we have legal immigration. We have a process already in place where people can come to this country and enjoy our freedoms and enjoy our rights. There is a proper path for that, and it has been in place for decades and decades and decades.
Is it time to put on the tinfoil hat?
I thought about making a tinfoil hat for this. I really did.
It's really just thinking about what you have to ask the right questions.
Well,
why do they allow this to continue to happen? Because our government is allowing this to happen, even though they know the citizens, real Americans don't want this. They don't want illegals coming in here. We're fine with people coming in the right way. Because this is a country of immigrants. This is how this country started.
Again, I've said the term military age males several times, and
yes.
Our
government knows they're coming in. Why are they?
There's a recent court ruling from a federal judge that said that an illegal immigrant being illegal does not stop their Second Amendment rights. So they're saying that illegal immigrants have the right to purchase firearms because since some rights are inalienable, that means that no matter what.
They're not citizens, though. They're here illegally, and they are not citizens. Citizens of the United States of America are protected under the Constitution.
Well, now I'm going to say this, and this is one of those where I'm going to say this and ruffle feathers. One, the Constitution does not give the government any powers. It restricts them.
It's supposed to.
So, that's the whole theory behind it. So there's a part of me that's like, hey, no, Second Amendment absolutist. Everyone is covered by the Second Amendment. But there is a federal judge who just said, nope, illegal immigrants also are covered by the same Second Amendment and have to be allowed to purchase firearms.
Yeah. And that's not. It doesn't say that. That's not how it.
Now, with that, you do not have to be a citizen to purchase a firearm, because there are a lot of hunting lodges here who will hold guns for people who come every year to hunt, and all you have to have is a hunting license, and you can buy a firearm in the U.S. And
but there's certain restrictions, right?
No, you can buy any firearm. You're good to go. There's some weird stuff with it. You run the background check, and they have to leave
something about. I need to do more research on that. We should probably do an episode on that.
They have to leave it here. They can't take it home with them.
Right.
And so there was an attack on a naval air station that was a Saudi that bought 2 Glocks because he got a Florida hunting license, bought these 2 handguns, and then shot up a naval air station. And
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah. Another reason why the Constitution is for people who are citizens of the United States of America.
That's where the hard part comes. I was like, everyone should be able to buy guns. But you have to be here legally to do stuff.
again, when we say everybody has the right to, but they don't, because if you're a felon or if you're not mentally stable, and none of us feel that those people should.
Well,
and felon being and again, felons is another fine line, because what kind of felon are you? If it's a violent crime felon, then
California LAPD now has a whole branch of cops that's all illegal. They call them DACA cops, and they straight up DACA cops. That's where part of this came from. There was a huge thing on it because they gave them service weapons, but they're not allowed to have them because they're not citizens.
Aliens.
Yeah, they're not
but
citizens.
They've made them police officers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading something about that too. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And this is the issues that we run into, and the chaos that it's creating by letting immigration happen illegally, not the way that it was structured and set up for people to come into this country.
Correct.
And when they're doing that, this is the mayhem that's created. You get illegal immigrants that are policing our citizens.
Well,
that should not be anywhere near.
So there's a
firearm or a police station other than behind the
Austin. Bar. Austin might not remember this, but Lefty, you probably will. There was a time way back in a distant time called the 90s when old Bill Jeff, Billy Clinton was president.
Oh yeah, Bubba.
And when Bubba was president, there was a deal with Cuba. And they said, hey, we're going to send all these people over to the U.S. And it was, hey, yeah, we're going to welcome all these Cuban refugees it was the Cuban political prisoners and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And Fidel Castro went to the Cuban jails and said, hey, all the rapists and murderers come out. And he sent 800 rapists and murderers into the U.S. because he didn't have to have them in jail anymore. And they just turned them loose here. And everybody went, oh, God, what happened? They were clutching their pearls.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you elect dumbasses.
Communist.
Well, I mean, pretty much right now, I have no faith in any politician whatsoever. Our system is completely corrupt.
Yeah.
It is. It's a fact. It's completely corrupt. And we're turning into every other country that's
purchase
out there.
Precious metals
today: brass, steel, and powder. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's very frustrating, but I really appreciate you guys and your service to our country. Thank you, and I just wanted to get your take of, because you had firsthand experience down at the border, what you were seeing, your opinions. If you've got more opinions, I'd love to hear them.
Oh, I got all kinds of opinions, but you know that.
I don't want to. I mean, I know, again, you guys are employed by the government. You can't say certain things. So. I get it. I get it. We all get it. I did when I went down to Florida at Pioneers. I did have an opportunity to shoot a very sweet gun here. I'm going to pull it up. A little PKM action.
Yep. Very nice.
Yeah.
So that is going to be at NRA this year, Leadhead. So if any of you are going to NRA, it's in Dallas this year. We're going to have the studio set up at Pioneer Arms booth. Come by and see us. We're going to have swag. We'll have some giveaways. It's going to be a good time. Dooley's not going to be there.
I will not.
Unfortunately. But that gun will be there. So you can come by, check it out. You can check out their 5.56 rifles, their 22s, their 7.62, the Groms. He might have those hell puppies by then. I don't know. Maybe he'll have them there to show off. But I will be there. That's like May. Sometime in May is when NRA is, I think. So I'll have more information, and as we get like giveaways and things together, I'll let you know what's going on there. But speaking of giveaways, our last episode we had Leo Takedown on the show, and we talked about their new integrated upper that they've got with their Leo Takedown system. I've got one.
May 17 through 19 is when NRA annual meeting will be.
There you go. There you go. So we are currently in the process of giving away one of these Leo takedown systems. Leo. I gotta do the bolt. Which you just pop the top like that. This is a 5.56. And a lot of people are worried about damage to your gas tube, so they come with little protectors. So when you're traveling and you're carrying them, you can put the little protectors on there. They pop right off, and then just like that, I'm with a 300 blackout, ready to rock and roll. So I mean, obviously you got to change your ammo, your magazine. Don't get them mixed up. It'll be a bad day for you. But any caliber that'll fit with an AR-15 is compatible with their system. Now they're selling them with the upper with this piece already installed, and that's what we're giving away. So we're giving away one barrel assembly. The upper, you get the upper receiver with the installed Leo takedown. And there's a bag. It's got one of their tactile bags. So if you want to enter that, go listen to the last episode with Leo Takedown, and all the instructions are there. We're going to give this away mid-April. So it's almost April now, but next month, one of the shows, we're going to make the announcement. And as you lead heads know, I don't contact winners, right, Austin? Right, Nick? You got to listen to the show to find out if you win. So we will make the announcement on an upcoming episode. I'll give you some heads up on social medias and whatnot, so you can be looking out. But we've had a ton of entries already, so well over 100. But your odds are still good. So go listen to that episode to find out what you have to do to win. Because what do we do here, Austin? What do you have to do? You have to participate.
Participation.
You listen, and that's how you find out if you win.
Yeah.
That's how we do it here. Gave away a bunch of stuff on the last AK corner, so go listen to that. I don't think I've had all the winners that won there. So check that out. We've got more Mission First tactical items that we're going to be giving away. They've got some new releases that they're going to be doing this year. They're going to be at NRA also. They've got a new belly band holster. Summertime's coming up, so their new belly band, they've made it even more lighter and streamlined. They're sending me one. I haven't got one of the new ones yet. But for summertime, those things are perfect. You're going to the beach. You're doing a little vacationing. Perfect place to conceal your firearm, your extra
way
bag.
Better than the prison pocket.
Way better than the old balloon knot. But check them out. The official tactical accessory provider of the Talking Lead podcast. They've got these new iron sights that I was showing you. Backup sights, extreme duties. Go get those. They're out. They're available now. And you can use the code LEADHEAD. Use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 20% off anything at Mission First Tactical. Now, with them being the new official tactical accessories sponsor, I see some bigger discounts coming in the future for you lead heads. So we're going to run like special holidays or something like that. You're going to get even better discounts. But the 20% is there. Use the code LEADHEAD. You can get 20% off now at Mission First Tactical. And, of course, Seal 1 for all your gun cleaning, lubrication needs. It is environmentally safe. It smells good. Austin uses it. You use Seal 1. Seal 1 and done.
I don't have Seal 1.
You don't have Seal? You run out?
I haven't purchased it yet.
I have some, and it has worked phenomenally.
Okay. I thought you'd won some. So, but we're always giving away SEAL 1 too. So listen to the AK Corner, the regular show. I'm not doing any giveaways this episode because I didn't post any questions or anything, but we've got a lot of stuff coming up. The giveaway with LEO, that's kind of our big thing right now. So I want you guys to enter that so we can give away the Leo takedown system in April. And then these mags I was telling you about, if you guys are interested in the G.I. Joe Cobra mags, you can get in touch with me. Drinky Drink wear from Mission First Tactical. They're holsters at Mission First Tactical. SEAL 1 and done. I was saying the SEAL1.com. Use the code LEADHEAD to get 25% off anything at SEAL 1. And have you tried their new cleaning rods, Dooley? Their new cleaning rod set?
Yes, those are legit.
They are. That is a solid, it's like buy it once kind of deal. Very nice.
Also their drinkware stuff. My daughter
Mission First, you're talking about drinkware.
Yeah, Mission First. Yeah. I have one of them. It is the 9-banger or the multi-bang.
Yeah, I've got that.
So it looks like the tube for that. And she was walking around school with it as her water bottle.
Nice. Nobody knew what it was at that age, did they? Even the teachers didn't know.
Oh no, one of the teachers did. And he walked up to her and he goes, I'm gonna have to talk to your dad. And hey, I've got one of those OG talking leads. And but my nice.
She hold this up to his Karen face and say, "Look, it says replica."
No, she didn't. He looked at her. He looked at her and he laughed and he goes,
MFT.
Goes, I'm gonna have to talk to your dad. And she goes, why? And he goes, because he shouldn't let you walk out with a 9-banger. And she goes, oh, he didn't know. He was already at work. And he laughed. And it's one of those. I know him. He's a good dude, but it was
yeah.
I
thought he was gonna say I need to talk to him about it because I need one.
No, it was. He just laughed. He was like, of all the kids who would walk in with that, I knew exactly who it would be.
All right, get his address. I'm going to send him one.
I will see if I can do that.
Get his address. I'm going to send him one, or I'll send it to you and you give it to him. How about that?
That'll work.
All right, we'll hook him up for not being a dick.
Yep, and he's the science teacher, which is even better.
I love it. Also, sponsors of the Talking Lead podcast, Whiskey River Beef. Who doesn't like beef? You like steaks? You like ground beef? You like tri-tips? You want to buy a whole cow? You want to buy a half cow? You want to buy a quarter of a cow? You go to Whiskey River Beef, ladies and gentlemen. It is whiskey mash fed. And being in Tennessee, you can imagine which whiskey that is. It's good old Jack Daniels mash. From start to finish, its whole life. They feed them that. They grass feed them. Best steaks that I've had in years. And they're big old thick steaks too. I had a couple of ribeyes that were 1.5 inches thick not too long ago. So good. I took a big cooler full down to Pioneer Arms when I went down there. Hooked those guys up with some Whiskey River beef, some strips, and some ribeyes. You guys go to whiskeyriverbeef.com. Use the code that's on the screen right here, Talking Lead 10, and you get 10% off. And you're like, hey, Lefty, I don't need a quarter or a half or, a whole cow. Well, you could go in with a buddy if you wanted to and do that, or you could just buy individual steaks and beef. They do it that way too. So if you pick and choose a la carte, but you got to go there and you got to get in when it's fresh on there because they sell out quick, and then you got to wait for the next batch. But he's doing good, keeping everything stocked up there. As you guys are ordering more, he's stocking more cattle. So the better he does, the better you're going to do. And we got some other giveaways from them coming up soon too. Prentice. Firebird targets. You guys use the Firebird targets yet?
I have not.
I have. But I purchased them. I did not know they were affiliated. I should have.
So we got a nice discount code, Talking Lead 15. You get 15% off anything at Firebird Targets, and they've got some quieter. I mean, I don't know why they would do that. I want my explosives to be as loud as possible. But I guess, some places they like their explosions a little quieter. But they've come out with a quieter Firebird target. I think it's the 50 or something like that. Anyway, Ton was supposed to be on here joining us tonight, and he was doing a helicopter ride or something today, so I guess he forgot. But go to Firebird Targets, use the code TalkingLead15. You're going to get 15% off there. We're hooking you guys up with discounts. I get nothing from these codes, okay? I asked them to give you, the listeners, the biggest discount possible. So I don't ask for any of the affiliate stuff that they do with these. I said, give the max discount that you can do. So 15% off there at Firebird Targets. The Kel-Tec Weapons, proud sponsors of the Talking Lead podcast for going on almost our full 13 years now. Use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 15% off anything at Kel-Tec. Weapons excluded, obviously. They say sometimes they sell weapons on there, like blims and stuff. I've never seen a firearm for sale on their website, but all their accessories. They've got these new cool. Have you seen you guys have sub 2000s, don't you?
I do not.
I don't, but Garth does.
Okay, I knew one of you had a sub 2000, but the new sub 2000, they've got that little twist barrel on them now, and you don't have to really worry about this. But they've got aftermarket flip sight, so for the ones that don't twist, it's basically a flip to the side, kind of
sideways, yeah.
But it's made specifically for the sub 2000 so that you can fold it now, so you don't really need a twisty.
No, I carry a Kel-Tec every day, and I have for 13 years now.
Well, you got a 3-pack?
Yep. I got
yep.
P3AT.
That's a cricket, isn't it? And they call it the cricket.
The noisy cricket. It's on its I've refinished the slide 3 times because I literally carry it every day.
I was so my buddy Andrew with Century and Canic was here today. I was looking for my phone. It's right here in front of me. And we went to visit
to meet him in person this year at SHOT.
Oh, is that the first time you met him?
Like we actually got to have a beer.
Oh, wow. So you got to hang out with the Drew Master.
Yep. And it was like in the booth, and I brought him one from Otis.
Oh, because he doesn't drink.
I know. I drank it for him.
Smart. So for those of you who don't know Andrew, he doesn't drink. So bring him a beer, and then you can drink it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, it's for this guy. They're like, oh, it's for that guy. And he's like, hey, waved his hand. I was like, yeah, see.
But we went to visit one of his stores. And I'm holding this up on my cell phone. You're probably not going to be able to see it. But they had 2 of their 22, the P17s, kind of custom deals. Yep. I hadn't seen this paint scheme on them before, but it's got like Kel-Tec etched on the front. It's got a red dot on the P17. This is a real 22. Those things are sweet. I got to get one of those. I don't have any of their 22s. I've got the sub 2000. I've got a PLR. Is it PLR 16?
Yep.
5.5. I think it's hanging up back there, but I put a brace on it. That's another thing I wanted to ask you guys about, because that picture of the guy in North Carolina that got arrested with the AK, he had the brace on there.
Oh yeah, I saw the brace. Yeah.
Well, they were saying he was arrested. He had like 3 pistols and a rifle. Well, he didn't.
Yeah.
That's a pistol.
According to the ATF, yeah,
is a pistol.
It
wasn't a rifle. So another jack wagon there. Go ahead.
Hey, Based Bluey disapproves.
Oh.
If anybody who has kids could see this,
I relate to it. I have almost a 3-year-old.
Yeah, Bluey is a popular cartoon, and Based Bluey with a Born to Kill is
British cartoon,
which makes it even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Factory 47 for our AK Corner logoed items. Go to Factory 47 with a K, FAKTORY 47. Use the code LEADHEAD, get 10% off there. I'm trying to work and get the logo kind of redone a little bit because I changed it this year where we're just kind of going with that fist with the AK. I think people know that that's the AK corner now, and just make it that. Get some hats with just the fist and the AK,
like some shirts.
Get some shirts. Actually, I had some shirts made when I went down to Pioneer Arms. I meant to show that. I'll show it next AK corner, but we wore them in some of the videos. I got them done maroon, and I had like gray lettering on, so they look pretty good.
Some patches, maybe.
Yep, patches.
Yeah.
I got some of the patches. I got the Leadhead Brigade shirts. I found this year, and they may have wound up in a Century Arms booth.
Oh,
a sticker that is from when this will tell you how old these stickers were. They came from the Grand Power booth.
Oh my gosh.
I found a roll of them, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have
Were you just handing them out, or were you just sticking them on people's booths?
Sticking them on random stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've been saving a spot for my cooler for a Talking Lead sticker that I've been trying to find.
I could hook you up.
Hey,
there you go.
They're the old school ones, like the OG.
I don't like stickers, so I don't do them. I don't know. Maybe I'll do stickers. Kraken cases. I said it right. Kraken. Talking Lead. I think it's Talking Lead, and you get 15% off now. It used to be 10, but he upped it to 15.
The foam in those is amazing.
I seen video footage of that foam. I've been thinking about looking at those.
I got some of that foam right here. So this is one out of their pistol case, and it comes with two in their pistol case. But that's the great thing about the Kraken cases is the memory foam. It's heat resistant. It's cut resistance.
They should make mattresses.
That's what I told him. I told him that. Has he ever thought about making like a one of those roll up cot things? But go there, you get 15% off. They've got full rifle cases, pistol cases, eyeglass cases. They got ammo cases now. So go check them out. And I'm sure I'm probably forgetting ASP USA, Leadhead, and you get 20% off. They up that from 15 to 20% off. ASP-USA. They've got the awesome flashlights, dual fuel flashlights that you guys see me occasionally have on here, where I'm flashing people in the eyes, but love their flashlights. So go support all our sponsors, everybody that makes this show possible, because that's how we're able to bring it to you each and every month, most of the time, or each and every week, most of the time, when I'm not on a learning curve. But like I said, we're going to start picking it up. We're going to start cranking them back out here. My learning curve, I hope, is over. And the home studio videos are going to be like this. And then when we go on the road, I'll still have the multicam capability to be able to switch and do all that. And even live stuff, as long as we got connectivity, we'll be able to broadcast live. But I'll have to get Dooley to help me with the buttons that I got to do for all that.
Well, we
did do the AK Corner finale last year live. So
we did, yes.
Yeah, and that was using this system that I'm on right here. No, that was cool.
Yeah, but I think I had to run it for you.
You did. Well, you ran it. I was like frustrated because I like to be in control, and I was like, dude,
click on that.
AK AR-15, right?
Marco was going off. I was like, mute him. But lots more coming, Leadhead. So stay tuned. Email me. Follow us on the Instagrams. Follow Nick at the AR-15 podcast. What's your Instagrams?
AR-15 podcast 2.0 on Instagram.
On the grams. I meant to ask you, and this was going to be one of our jack wagons, is that gun that you guys got banned from YouTube. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah. So we got banned from we're back on YouTube. We got our live stream got ripped down, and we got our hand slapped because during a live stream, we
You were doing
touched
this?
we touched a firearm, and it was the Foxtrot Mike ranch rifle. And I
Super
will
rifle.
Oh, it's these are a pretty rad firearm. So if you've ever, the closest thing to it, if you've ever looked at Fightlight Industries was the first one to do like an AR that didn't have a buffer tube.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the most recent, and it uses, so if you can look at this picture, this has the Woox WOOX furniture for an 870 that goes in, and this is a direct impingement AR-15 upper.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they have it's all proprietary, but you could actually drop it on any AR lower. It's just bufferless.
Nice mag.
And
yeah.
right. And this is the gun that got us kicked off of YouTube, and it is the Foxtrot Mike ranch rifle.
Did you see that post I made where I'm starting the guns banned from YouTube Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is, we touched that, and you can't do that. So
yeah, so apparently there's like this new rule they've got where you can't, on live streams, you can't have a firearm in the live stream. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you cannot handle or transport firearms. And I know
just
that
live feeds, or is that on the videos and everything?
Just live streams.
Okay.
And I know people who had like they were playing within their hands like a fidget spinner and like a grip, like just a grip, and got banned.
Or how do they know what it is? How do they know it's an AR grip? Maybe it's a pot holder.
It's an AI algorithm.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with it. I don't like
when you're
fuck YouTube.
But when your name is like We Like Shooting or AR-15 podcast,
or Talking Lead podcast. Of course, they think mine's Talking Lead.
Lead, yeah.
So
and Lead is a city in South Dakota.
Oh, it is Lead. Okay.
It's actually the home of the Homestake Mine, which more gold came out of than anywhere else, and it is currently the deep underground laboratory.
That is some interesting, useless history.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm full of random, stupid knowledge.
So what really sucks is like when I try to do AI stuff with Talking Lead, all the AI call it Lead, and there's no way to get it to say lead. And sometimes I can just take the A out, and they'll say lead, but a lot of them will go LED.
Yeah,
Talking LED. So trying to use like the AI voiceover and stuff, it's not working for me. So,
well, if you ever need voiceover work, just let me know.
Okay, I may do that. I have done that before, by the way.
Yeah,
I've done that. So, Austin, you got anything going on outside of the guard? You got any side businesses going on that the leadheads need to be aware of with your graphics design or anything?
That's just my portfolio. I'm trying to work on, build up. On the side, while I was on board, I got addicted to making YouTube videos.
Okay, what's your YouTube channel?
I have two.
Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Fuck YouTube. Don't post your shit to YouTube. Post it to Rumble. Put it on Rumble. Start Rumble. If this is new, if it's a new product, go to Rumble. Start it on Rumble.
I do. I try to start doing a Rumble, but yeah,
I have moved to Rumble, Leadhead. So if you're trying to find my videos on YouTube, yes, I'm still posting them there, but it might be a week, might be 2 weeks later before I post up, something to YouTube, because fuck YouTube. Rumble is where it's at. I'm on Rumble now. Apparently you guys haven't got the notice because we've only got 116 followers on Rumble. But I'm going to start going there. And if you're not following me on Rumble, you're not going to be able to win any of these giveaways that we're doing either. So there you go. I'm going to be a dick about it. I don't know what else to do to get you to go over there and start following me on Rumble. So go follow me on Rumble. Fuck YouTube.
You have 117 followers.
Oh, well, look at you. You're more than me. They
No,
like
you do. You have 117 now.
Oh, did you just follow me?
Sure did.
Thank you.
I'm already a follower on Rumble.
That's right, Austin.
See,
Austin,
like I broadcast to Rumble, but I'll be honest, I don't consume a lot of content over there.
On Rumble?
Yeah.
Well, there's still some bugs, but the more people that start moving over there, they're going to fix it. They're going to make it better, but they are 2A friendly. You know, they're 1A friendly, you know, for the most part. And they're not allowing as far as I know, the boobs and the child porn and, you know, all that stuff like YouTube does. So go to Rumble. That's all I'm saying. Go to Rumble. And then, of course, on all of our podcasting, subscribe. And no offense to, again, Dooley, the Firearms Radio Network. I know you're part of them, and I love the Firearms Radio Network, and you can find us there. But, again, I post there after. So go to my main Talking Lead page and follow us and subscribe there because you're going to get a jump on for the contest and all that. So,
I follow you there. So that's what I do.
Yeah, but I got a lot of followers that just do it through the Firearms Radio Network because it's convenient and easy, and I get it.
Yep.
And I want you to continue to do that, but I'm just letting you know that you're going to get the content sooner if you subscribe to us directly on our podcast channel, wherever you listen. It's just I don't have time to do all this, so I concentrate on our main stuff first, and then all the other stuff is secondary. But you will get it on the Firearms Radio Network a lot sooner than you will YouTube. I can guarantee you that. But I love what Sean and the gang there are doing with the Firearms Radio Network. They're innovating and doing a lot of cool new stuff. And that's where you guys are going to find. Do you have just your own direct thing, or do you just
actually
through?
We're straight through the FRN right now. That's okay. All we've got, and that's because I don't have time to do multiple sources.
Right.
So I bring it all up. We broadcast, and when the AR-15 podcast goes out, we stream to Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. And then everything gets broadcasted or put out through the RSS feeds.
Live, right?
Yeah, we do. We do them live.
Yeah, I don't. I'm scared. I'm scared to do mine live still. I get too many people that can't do live stuff, so I just don't do it.
Yeah, we get heckled on occasion, and it's okay. We've only had one really crazy person start heckling us.
Like on the chat stuff?
Yep. And it was
but that's the great thing about it. You can just block.
So, well, I showed them and what they said. I said, "You're banned."
But they make it spicy when you get people like that. So if I did, I would never ban anybody from my live. I would just let everybody else take care of them, but it just spices it up.
Okay, carry on, guys.
All right. So, Austin, do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, sure. If you want. Yeah.
I follow Austin. Austin has some great content.
Yeah.
Give it. What is it?
It's Austin Waylan at Instagram. Waylan is my last name.
There you go.
Make sure you spell that right. You'll find me.
You'll find him right there.
I got my links to my YouTubes on there somewhere. Yeah. So it's funny. It's the link tree I have for my YouTubes. It's like if I only had tig old biddies, you make it this far. So
it seems like if you got big old biddies, you really get a lot of followers. But
you really do.
Weird how that works.
It's funny how that works. It's funny how I stop and look at those every time it comes through my. I don't know.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I don't click on them. I just stop and pause, and apparently their algorithms know that.
Somehow I automatically follow those. No way.
It's like, wait a minute. He's been on this one picture for about 3 minutes now. What's up with that? Okay.
I had one that I had to watch just because I was trying to figure out what was going on in it. I'm like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
What just happened here? And then I wound up seeing a bunch of stuff I didn't want to see.
And that's something I've noticed on Instagram too. And we're getting way off. We're signing off your lead head. So if you want to hang up, hang up. But there's a lot more like full nudity on Instagram now that I'd never knew that it was there before. I mean, there's like full blown boobies and showing their
Yeah.
I think
their
that's
mommy
only for
parts.
breastfeeding. Yeah.
No. Again, I'm scrolling through and then you see something like that. You're like, what?
Huh.
Is this Twitter? What? No, this is Instagram.
Do I report this?
I mean, I'm not a rat.
Yeah. I'm no narc.
I'm not a narc. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. That's a term from the past.
Narc. All right, guys, that does it for this episode. We're going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, all the support from you lead heads. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you appreciate the way that we try to give back through our giveaways, through our sponsors, through the discount codes. Use those. And like I said, the more you use them, the more we're going to get, the more savings that you're going to get, and then the giveaways too. I mean, I can't tell you the dollars that we've given away in prizes, in the 13 years I've been doing this. It's well more than I've made.
Staggering.
Yeah, it is staggering. But that's the generosity of our sponsors and our friends of the show. It just goes to show that they want to give back to you guys and they appreciate the support. So there you have it.
Like I don't know of like hardly any other shows that gave away a silencer.
I've given away several.
Yeah, I know.
And you got one.
No, I donated one.
Oh, you don't? That's right. You donated it. Yeah. You donated one. We've given away Atlas Defense. We've given away a stealth project. And speaking of, we've probably got this other company that I'm not talking about yet is probably going to be up in a giveaway. But our big, huge giveaways that we normally do every year, I'm working on putting together one of those with Mission First, where we do like 5-6 firearms and we have several different winners. Of course, this last one guy won everything. It was like almost 10 grand worth of guns and kit and gear. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. It's late. And I know you lead heads are probably already hung up. So appreciate it again. Everybody tuning in, follow us, like us, subscribe to us, share us. AR-15 Podcast, Austin Waylan, Firearms Radio Network. Did I forget anybody?
I think that's it.
That's it. All right. So, lead heads, until the next episode, as always, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms
closer.
And your tool logic knife on you.
The rape whistle. God, I got to find another one of those. If any of you lead heads know where I can get one of those, send me an email. I want to get a new one. That's it.
That's an